Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. You found the Tony Basilio stream at TonyBasilio.com or on your smartphone or tablet. Another thrilling, chilling, and sometimes spilling edition of the Basilio Show is on the way next. Tips are always appreciated.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
Pretty fired up, pretty focused, pretty prepared for you, pretty stacked, pretty jacked, pretty packed. Pretty excited to be alongside. We've got a special extravaganza, post-holiday extravaganza as it was, for you and yours. Merry Christmas to you. Hope you're having a good one. We are here. Little post-Christmas celebration, holiday celebration, holiday extravaganza for the ages. We've got bowl games on tap all day today while you're trying to get away from family. I mean, enjoy your family. Let's see. What else is there? Getting closer to this bowl game, which is going to be very interesting. Brian Hartman Brian wrote a really good column today about who of the teams that are left he's rooting for to win it, and to win it, and to win it all. So we'll go through that in a little bit. Throaty made a really good point about the, today over at tclub.team in our blog, about the quarterback situation at Tennessee and how pricey one position can get if you don't manage it properly. Or manage it. I'm not sure properly. I don't know. I don't pretend to know the answers. So properly, not properly, I don't pretend to know the answers. I do know this. Between Faison Brandon and Georgie Mac, G-Mac, they're spending $3 million this year. Something close to that. And I'm just doing the math here. You tell me if I'm wrong. The belief is that Texas Tech's going to pay this Sorsby kid a little over $4 million. The word on the street says, and I heard it on the street, I heard you might have found somebody new. But if Tennessee wants to get involved with that Sorsby guy, they would be $7.5 million on one position when only one guy can play. Like the people like Matt Dixon and the John Adamses of the world who are kind of coming to the conclusion that spending a lot of money on quarterbacks that sit on your bench. You know, look, this time of the year, everybody starts getting those credit cards. They start looking at their budgets, you know, after they spend like drunken sailors over the holidays. And $7.5 million, if that's the route you go, that's a lot of money on one position when you still need a whole defense. So we got a lot to talk about. We got the bowl game here on Tuesday. Rice fan. Bino, Jeff, Brian, Merry Christmas, and as my brother Steve likes to say, and Happy New Year.
Tony, you started off the show with a whole bunch of pretties. I ain't pretty, but I'm happy to be here, and Merry Christmas to everyone out there, and hoping for a healthy and happy 2026.
Yeah, I'm with the concept there, Beanstar. 2026. I'm ready to get rid of 2025. It's been kind of a nightmare of the night. But, Bronny Boy, penny for your thoughts, Bronny Boy. What'd you watch more of yesterday, Bri? If anything, did you watch more NBA or did you watch more NFL?
I didn't see, but maybe 10 minutes all day of NBA. But I wanted to see the halftime with Charles, Kenny, and Shaq. I hadn't seen one of those this year.
Mm-hmm.
Those are more entertaining than the games they're talking about.
How were they? Were they good?
Yeah, they don't disappoint. And I'm not in a location where I have access to my Netflix, so I couldn't see any of the NFL.
Nice. Well, you missed
kept track of it. So
at halftime of one of the games, you missed Snoop and Andrea Bocelli, along with Lainey Wilson.
I did notice that. I missed that. I'm sorry. I wish that's really going to ruin my Christmas knowing that I missed that. But there was one game where the Lions were pretty much healthy on offense.
Yeah,
they had all their key players out there.
Yep.
In a must-win game, they go on the road and they score 10 points against a team who's already out playing their third-string quarterback, who only threw for 51 yards in the game, the entire game. Not one play in the entire game.
All right.
And lost by 2 scores. Lost by 13 points doing so.
All right. Yeah, Backstreet's back.
The Detroit Lions are back, Tone. The Detroit Lions we all know and love are back.
Because Backstreet's back. All right. How about you, Bino? Did you watch more NBA, NFL, or none of the above?
Tony, I watched more NBA, surprisingly, because I wanted to see Cooper Flagg play a little bit. So
Nice.
I watched a little bit of that game, and I just don't go searching for the NFL. If it's on my television, I'm watching. I ain't looking for Netflix or Peacock or any of that stuff.
Yeah, Throaty made it. Yeah, Throaty made a really good point. The mid games they had on last week hammered those NCAA bowl games when they went heads up with each other. I wonder if they would have put good bowl games up against them, if the numbers would have been better. Who knows? But they didn't, and maybe they won't. Maybe they won't. Maybe these people aren't even going to wise up and put some decent games on that are worth watching. But we really, 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 really had a lot of fun. My daughter's boyfriend, Riley B. King, is a huge Spurs fan. He's always loved them. As a kid, he's just always loved them, And he's really excited about this Wembanyama guy that they have, Beanstar. This Wembanyama guy is a tremendous player. Tremendous player.
I believe the Spurs are responsible for 3 of Oklahoma City's 5 losses this year.
Yep.
They're 3-0 against them.
And the question everybody's wondering, Brian, it's the question. What happens when the games get real? Because you got to keep it real. In the NBA, it's one thing to beat somebody.
We won't know for another,
9 months. 9 months. Yeah. You like it, Brian, how stretched out the season is?
There's a lot of urgency. Yes, there were a lot of urgency in those games yesterday.
They're playing hard. I mean, hell.
Serious consequences if you get beat.
Oh, it's,
Serious emotional.
How do you come back from the
losing?
That's the thing about the sports we watch here. You lose one of these football games. I tried describing that to my family. I'm like, why do people melt down? I'm like, look, two losses in college football, Bino, it's like losing. It's like 2-3 game losing streaks in the NFL. It about knocks you out of the playoff chase.
Yeah, it is. Pretty much every game's precious.
Oh, And even in the playoff era, they're still pretty precious. So Hughie's going to join us. Bri, what are our bowl games today, and are they starting to heat up? And Bino, when are my picks due to you? I just have to get one personal note out of the air, out on the air here. We do a little thing where everybody puts a little money in the pot. Bino's the commissioner. It's like mystery meat in terms of how you do when Bino starts doing the math. Bri, do you like when Bino starts doing the math? You for it or against it, Bri?
When I start doing the math, it might actually be worse.
That is weird, Bri. You're a numerically oriented guy that can't add. I've noticed that about you down through the years. You're a real numbers guy, details guy. You're kind of nuttier than a fruitcake.
Well, we can't.
In that regard, no offense to you. All right.
As for the games, Tone, 1 o'clock, something called the Game Above Bowl in Detroit. Central Michigan versus Northwestern.
Hey, I play the Game Above. You walk into the room with me.
Yeah, the Game Above.
A lot of you are playing a game down here. I'm playing a game up here with my intellect.
They should have called it the Cut Above Bowl. That would be better.
I'm playing the game.
Hello, Motor City Bowl.
Abajo. I'm playing the game
used to be the Motor City Bowl in Detroit. Yeah, they'll play that at Ford Field.
A game above.
Home of the now eliminated Detroit Lions.
Are they eliminated already?
They were eliminated last night with the Vikings beat the Lions. That clinched the playoff spot for the Green Bay Packers.
Going for 4th down every single time against the Eagles in a close game earlier in the year? Yeah, I am kind of a cut above. All right, moving along. So that's the Game Above game. First game of the thing. And then 4:30 Eastern time, we got New Mexico and Minnehaha. Brian, What is that game?
That is in Phoenix. That is at the home of the Arizona Diamondbacks, I believe.
Let's freaking go, dude. Love on a two-way street and college football in a baseball arena, Beanstar. Are you for it or against it?
After yesterday's TV fair, I'm for it.
Taking us back to the old days of the Pigskin Classic when Chuck Webb, the old head Vol fans will remember, ran through the third base cutout in the old Jack Murphy Stadium in the old Pigskin Classic. Shout out Darren. And then tonight, ladies and gentlemen, going to make it right. Tonight, whoa. Florida International and Texas San Antonio. What a slate of games today, Bino. Could there be one team with any heritage or tradition playing today, Bino, or is that too much to ask?
Well, we only have 3 games, Tony, so I guess that's too much to ask. But you almost always have to get to around the 28th or so before things kind of get real. Hey, your picks are due sometime this evening, Tony, by the way.
So, Negative is, Negative's got that, how do we put this? He got that Christmas cheer going, Bino. How'd you like to hang out with Negative over there? You think his wife gets him something that speaks to his love language, like, I don't know, what would you put in Negative? Some real sharp cheese in his stocking, Bino? Some like really bitter herbs, maybe. Maybe some like fermented capers, Bino.
I'm sure Dave's played many a game there. I figured Dave might go to Coalfield for Christmas.
Negative! So, and we'll bring the Hugie in here momentarily, but tomorrow's slate is very full, very fun. And Bino, if Tennessee, if the Sorsby guy gets too expensive for Tennessee, and I think he's going to, because I think Texas Tech's going to get in the mix and in the hunt for him, and that's going to be that. But 865-200-5402.
Well, 1 point. Any college football is better than none, and it's going to be ending soon, so we won't have it much longer. So I embrace today's slate.
Oh, the Pigskin Classic was in Anaheim, Robert Holloway. Yeah, you're right, Robert Holloway. It was in Anaheim. You're right, because it was a Disney thing, and it was played in the old. Was that the old Big A in Anaheim, Bino? Is that why there was a cutout on the field? I guess that's right. The old baseball stadium
correct,
there.
Tony.
One of the more incredible college football games in terms of just the amount of talent on one football field you will witness.
Wow.
Sam Schrock says, fun fact, Tennessee's 4 losses combined are by less points than Illinois lost to Indiana by. That is a fun fact. Another fun fact Brian Hartman put in the blog today is that Tennessee, if they defeat Illinois, will easily be their best win of the year. Brian, do you back down from that?
No, it's got to be.
He shouldn't.
I think I'll go along with it. I think Florida, just because Florida's still beating them still matters.
Yep.
Even though they're 4-8, I want to say that's Tennessee's my favorite win this year by far. I think that's Tennessee's best win. I'll just say it.
It's kind of their only win,
that
Brian.
right now.
I mean, when you get ready.
So
to
yeah, this would be better than that. Yeah. They're still a brand, like the Vols. They're still a brand, even though they're bad.
And that's another thing Brian put in the blog today. Brian's blog entry is really good today over at tclub.team. Because he decided not to pick 6 games. He just said, I'm going to go off the board. I'm going to rank these teams who I want to win the Natty from here. Let's take a brief timeout. Mike Hugan joins. He's presented by our friends at Guffon Moving and Storage. Tom and Taylor Guffon and that whole entire family, y'all touch my heart this week. Y'all touch my heart. As we continue with more on the other side, we bring it back on a Friday, Rice fans. And we'll get some calls in. We'll have some fun here. We're going to have a fun, festive time. The eggnog will be flowing. Brian Hartman spiked it earlier. More after this. Living Vol fan, make Alumni Hall your one-stop shop for all your Vol fans on your shopping list this holiday season. There's nothing better than getting your favorite Tennessee gear under the tree. Picture it, a nice polo shirt, a new hoodie, something for the man cave. Pop in and see my friends at Alumni Hall. Best selection of Tennessee gear. Alumni Hall, 3 Knoxville locations. Bristol, Johnson City, Murfreesboro, or online at alumnihall.com. It's easy to have a big orange Christmas. And happy holidays from everyone at Alumni Hall. The ultimate volunteer shopping experience. Alumni Hall. Calhoun's invites you to leave the cooking to us all holiday season long. Between now and the end of the year, feast without the fuss when you host at the holidays. Don't you dare cook. Go absolutely next level with this offer. Between now and the first of the year, Calhoun's is offering an incredible deal on delicious turkey or prime rib dinner. You could feed from 5 to 10 people at your home holiday gathering, not lift a finger of preparation. The turkey dinner comes with amazing sides like mashed potatoes, peas, melt in your mouth gravy, dressing to die for, fresh rolls, cranberry sauce, and homemade cheesecake. And that prime rib dinner features amazing melt in your mouth prime rib, fresh mashed potatoes, au jus, green beans, gravy, rolls, horseradish sauce, and delicious fresh baked cheesecake. This amazing offering is available now through the new year. Call to place your order today. More information found at holidayfeedpack.com. Again, that's holidayfeedpack.com. Feast without the fuss this holiday season with Calhoun's, the taste of Tennessee. When it's time for your next move, you want to get your precious belongings from point A to point B with your peace of mind intact. That's why you need to call my friends at Guffon Moving and Storage, East Tennessee's moving legend. Guffon Moving and Storage has been helping East Tennesseans move since 1887. That's 138 years, 5 generations. That's even longer than the Dooley, Jones, and Pruitt era combined. Guffon Moving and Storage, Pro Movers, serving Knoxville, surrounding areas, and interstate moves too, both residential and commercial. And we'll provide you with personalized service that other corporate movers simply cannot. We know how to move all types of items. We pay careful attention to our clients' valuables. Your satisfaction as a customer is our absolute priority. As the oldest continually owned and operated family moving business in the United States, when it's time for your next move, it's Gufan Moving and Storage. And storage, it's secure and vaulted. Our newest offering of commercial storage logistics, we offer receiving, storage, and delivery services for all your business logistic needs. See more at Gufan.com. That's Gufan.com, or check out the link at tclub.team. When it's time for your next move, East Tennessee's moving legend, Gufan Moving and Storage. Life never stops moving, and between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up, a tire designed for doers, a tire that's going to last, like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires, just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776, or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately, from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham. They've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Cold weather is on its way, and keeping your home warm and cozy doesn't have to cost a fortune. Upgrade your HVAC system with Pipe Wrench Home Services and get payments as low as $137 per month. You'll also save on utility bills with a new energy-efficient HVAC system to keep your home warm and comfortable through the holidays. We make it easy with free on-site estimates on replacements and free second opinions on repairs. So call or schedule your appointment online today at pipewrench.com. And get a new energy-saving HVAC system for as little as $137 per month. We are committed to keeping your home cozy and worry-free this holiday season. Pipe Wrench Home Services, trusted in Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and neighboring communities for over 20 years. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free. Offer good with approved credit. Some restrictions apply. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Tony Basilio, proud to bring to you Alan of WeShipFloors.com. Alan, 'tis the season of giving, and you're in a giving mood.
We're in a giving mood, Tony. We're extending this sale, this 40% off sale. And to the Tony Basilio loyal listeners, of course, we're going to do the 45% off using code word Tony. And because it's the time for giving, if you use that Dave promo code, we're going to give you 45% off. But get this, Tony. We're not going to give you a warranty. We ain't going to give you a warranty because we know if you use a negative promo, you're going to have problems with your floor.
The great thing, though, with the Supercore floor, Alan, and you've proven this over at YouTube, is it's hard to have problems with your floor.
It's hard to have problems, yes, Tony. You don't have claims. I mean, we literally don't. We've got a remarkable product. It's waterproof, pet-proof. It's even mother-in-law proof for the holidays. So there you go. We have 120 different Supercore floors. It's all got a lifetime warranty. Room visualizer. You can take a picture of your room, drop our floor right into it. We've got all this stuff in stock here in Johnson City. We ship nationwide for free.
120 Supercore floors, 45% off through the new year. Alan at WeShipFloors.com. Anything else for us?
Go Vols, Tony.
Love it! WeShipFloors.com. That's my man Alan right there. We break it down scientifically. Moving right to left across your device. So we're pretty pumped. Got a report breaking today here. This is from On 3, not No 3. There are 2 3s out there. One is On 3. The other one is No 3. No 3 gets people like me and Bino all the time. On 3 is reporting as I bring the great Mike Hugan in here, who's presented by our friends Bow Thy Head. When you say thy name, ladies and gentlemen, I want to shout out the Gooffon Moving and Storage. Incredible people. Did something for a friend of mine this week that will never, ever, 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 ever be forgotten by the living fan. I'm talking about since 1887, 138 years, 5 generations, that personal touch that you can count on. They want to wish you the very, very, very best at this holiday season, and thank you for your patronage down through the years, which has made them the heritage mover across this land. 100, going on 139 years, ladies and gentlemen. And it seems like Michigan has been in disarray, Hugie, about that long with what they've been going through. Because a couple weeks there have got to feel like 138 years. The latest report, Mike Hugan, is I bring you in against the backdrop that just when you think you've heard it all, hold my beer, says the rest of college sports. Former Utah head coach who just retired, Kyle Whittingham, has emerged as Michigan's top target, according to Pete Nakos. Hugie?
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. Whittingham is 66, and when he announced his retirement from Utah, he said, "I'm retiring from Utah, not necessarily retiring totally." And you're like, well, if you're going to, my thought was, if you want to keep coaching, why wouldn't you stay there? But he is, I think, if you're Michigan, given all the controversy and turmoil and angst that you've caused, Whittingham is a good guy to come in for a handful of years, smooth the waters, and put a nice product on the field. It would be sort of alarming to me to see Kyle Whittingham coach for somebody other than Utah, but Michigan could do a heck of a lot worse. That would be, I think Michigan would, a school that needs positive PR would get some right away if they brought in Whittingham too. And I'm sure they would spin it at, and I think it would be, we're going to bring him in to settle everybody down, put us on the right track.
Yep.
We're going to turn more to the straight and narrow now after we've gone off the rails. And no one better than Kyle Whittingham to do that. But it would be bizarre to see him, a guy who's coached in Utah basically his whole career, on the sidelines of a Big Ten game as Michigan's coach.
He is a serious...
He's a classy guy, too.
Oh, no, he's incredible. He's a man's man.
If you don't like Michigan right now, you're like, please don't hire Whittingham. Because
That's right.
I don't think anybody has any bad wishes for Whittingham, but you certainly have bad wishes for Michigan.
I was telling Bino, that guy projects as a serious human being who's a man's man, who would be, to call that guy an upgrade over that punk and clown they had there. I mean, you got to be kidding me. You talk about landing on your feet for a few years till they can figure something else out. And who knows, maybe he goes there and has a 5 or 6 year run, because he strikes me as a pretty young 66-year-old.
Yeah, I think that's true. he is a good coach as well.
Yeah.
He adapts on both sides of the ball. He's hired coordinators that do a nice job of adapting to what they have. I mean, again, like you said, they would get, for a program that's laying down supine, they would be up and walking around as the minute they hired Kyle Whittingham.
Bino, what's your take on the possibility of Kyle Whittingham in Ann Arbor?
I think Mike said what I'm thinking, and what a buddy of mine termed as, "Hey, this is cleanup on aisle 6 here."
Yep, because I did see there were some reports over the weekend that are linking Alabama's head coach to that job potentially. Hugie, if Bama gets popped, is there a chance that he leaves, or will he stay?
He came out earlier and said, "I'm not leaving. I like it at Alabama."
Sure.
But if Alabama loses to Indiana, there's going to be Alabama fans who will say, "Get in my car, Kalen DeBoer. I'll drive you to Ann Arbor myself. Get out of here."
Yep.
But that would be a great hire, I think, too, because DeBoer's a good coach. And you wonder if deep down inside he realizes, yeah, I'm a good coach, but I can't win here in terms of I can't live up to the expectations that Saban set, but no one can. But I tend to take DeBoer at his word that he is not looking to leave Alabama. I think Michigan probably made some back channel talks with DeBoer's folks, and I think that's why he said he wasn't interested in leaving. But at the same time, I mean, if Alabama goes 9-3 next year and misses the playoffs, there's going to be, I think, at least half the fan base would be like, "Get this guy out of here." So he would be, in a way, after 2 years at Alabama, hit the reset button, and I think that he'd have a lot more leeway at Michigan. Well, anybody would have more leeway than an Alabama coach, but I tend to think DeBoer said that he does want to stay, and he truly does want to stay at Alabama.
Head be bowed, ladies and gentlemen. The great Mike Hugan, and you've tried the rest. You're trying the best. We're breaking it down scientifically. Hugie, you and I were talking off the air. Get ready for this. We were talking about this back in the summer as the next thing that's the uncharted territory, and now we're seeing it. Baylor is signing a failed professional player from overseas who's going to come back to college, which I think eventually these one-and-done guys are going to get – somebody's going to sue and say, "I want to go back to school." And by the way, I only used one of my years of eligibility. They used to have these clock rules where once your clock started and you aged out past your clock. I'm sure they still have those rules. But a Keon Johnson, somebody like that, okay, whose name comes up here frequently. But if he were to come back here after playing in the NBA for a couple years and would have a couple years of eligibility left, or these guys that wash out after 1 year. Let's talk about the kid from overseas who's going back to Baylor, and what about the precedents that sets, Hugie?
Yeah, I mean, he went in the second round in the 2023 draft, never signed with an NBA team. He's been playing overseas. I think this year he was playing in Turkey while he was on loan from a team in Spain. And all of a sudden now, not only is he eligible, he'll be playing as soon as the next semester starts for Baylor. He was 6'11", 225 when he was drafted. He's now 7 foot, 251. He was drafted out of Spain as a overseas player, international player. So he technically has never even signed with a college. So it is interesting. I don't know. The precedent this sets, to me, is a dangerous one because, then again, while he was drafted by the NBA, he never signed with an NBA team. His draft rights even were traded to the Knicks, but they never signed him. And you have international players now coming over at age 19 and age 20. My presumption is they're using that same kind of rationale. Well, He's an international player. Yes, he was drafted by the NBA, but he never even signed an NBA contract. So he technically, under NCAA rules, is an amateur. And, you got guys playing college basketball now who were playing for professional teams overseas. So I think the fact that he was drafted adds a different element. But, again, he did play for NBA, I think, in the summer league, but never technically signed a contract. So I'm assuming that's the rationale they use. But it's this guy he's impressive size. He'll be a 21-year-old freshman, I assume. But he was only averaging, I think, 8 points and 4 rebounds in Turkey. And I don't necessarily think of Turkish pro basketball as being, top level. But, if you're Baylor and you've had some injuries and you've got a nice team anyway, adding a 21-year-old 7-footer who's been playing against guys older than him for about 7 years, that's a nice addition a third of the way through the season.
Bino, the concept, because it's going to happen, of these NBA guys or these guys who get drafted and it doesn't work out for them and they say, hey, I made a mistake, I want to go back to college. The concept of them being able to bounce back, Bino, for it or against it, what are you?
Tony, right now I'm against it. I'm still struggling with, and I know this would be a different situation than football, but I'm still struggling with the age of college football now.
Mm-hmm.
With guys in their upper 20s playing against guys that are 19. I'm struggling with that. So right now I'm against it.
Ament's seeing that right now. Hugie, before NIL, a lot of these guys that are in college ball would have already been out of here. They would have already been started their career.
It's the same in college basketball.
Yeah.
You got guys who are really good college players.
Yep.
Big guys especially who don't fit today's pro game, so they stay an extra year or two in college, and they're making $1 million anyway. So, but the interesting thing would be like the one and done guys. If you're a one and done guy who gets drafted midway through the second round, maybe it's a case of something. I'm not going to sign, and I'm going to sue for another year of NCAA eligibility.
Yep.
I will pay back all the money I got from my agent or from whoever who the NBA teams paid for me to go to their camps and stuff. I'll pay that back. I want another year of college eligibility so I can be a first round pick, and I think that is going to happen.
See, I think he's right. I think we better get ready for that. I think that is the next shoe that's going to drop in this deal, because you can just see it coming. If you really think about the signals are just there, the signs are there. And look, Hugan and I were talking off the air. Hey, Bino, these people that run these sports like them being a little older. It makes the game look better. You got professional players out there. It makes the quality of play better. It makes the product more interesting, Beanstar.
Yeah, I can certainly see that, Tony. And again, I'm more thinking about football and just the difference in physical development between guys that are in their 6th and 7th year playing college football somehow, as opposed to kids coming in. And every move that we make hurts the high school kids. Every single move that's being made.
Oh, it's bad. And that's the other thing, Hugie. It's like there were only so many spots to go around for high school kids as it is, and those have always been precious and few. But now that you've got guys playing longer and longer and longer, it's probably never been harder, especially in basketball, even though they do have 2 extra spots. But a lot of these coaches are choosing not to fill their rosters.
Yeah, I think basketball, if you're a high school basketball player, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, a Power 4 school signed you as a flyer.
Yep.
Let's see if this guy develops. Now they're not even looking at you. You're signing either with a mid-major or a low major, and you end up transferring.
Yep.
But I think in basketball, the roster crunch is a lot more than football. But Bino's got a point. If there's also, you wonder now if let's say there's a running back from a mid-major school who just ran for 1,200 yards, declares for the draft, goes in the 6th round, doesn't get invited to the combine, goes in the 6th round. Can he then say, you know something, I made a mistake, I want to go back and get an extra year. I want to finish out my eligibility in college.
Yeah.
I'm going back. And I'm assuming there's going to be those kind of guys as well.
Colton Hood, mid-season this year, everybody was hearing first round pick. Well, they've got this system in place in college football now where these guys can send off to a board and they tell them this is what
round
we
they're
believe your
expected.
stock
The college
is.
draft advisory board, exactly.
He found
but
out,
not everybody follows that advice.
Well, he found out that he was going to be a third-day pick. People at Tennessee thought, oh, well, he's probably going to stay now. He just said, I'm leaving anyway. But what
and there's
if...
some, and I chose a running back before. That was probably a poor choice of a position because running backs, you only got so many carries in your legs and you can only get hit so many times. But if you're a corner or a wide receiver or a linebacker, I think that's different. That is an interesting move by Colton Hood. Though there's always kids out there who are like, something. Yeah, it's not. I don't want to be involved. I want to be football 24/7. I don't want to have to worry about classes.
Yep.
I'm not sure these guys worry about classes anyway.
Yep.
But I don't like the college atmosphere. I want to start getting. I want to start on my pro career, though the money aspect might not be as different as some kids think it is. So if you're a star corner in college, you're making good money, and you might be making just as good as money as you would make if you were a 6th or 7th round pick, if not better.
All right, Hugie, let's go to the field as a great Mike Hugan and joins us. So that thing there with pro players re-entering college sports is something to watch because I think that's a Rubicon that's getting ready to be challenged, crossed, what have you. One of the many things in 2026 as we watch these sports sort of reinvent themselves until they get an ironclad collective bargaining and this is who we are. These are the rules of entry in our game. This is the way the game is played. These are the rules of engagement. Until you start seeing that stuff, it's all, and I mean all, on the table. Hugie, does anything today from the college game grab your attention, or is this more of a ho-hum so far slate of bowl games?
I will say that the Hawaii Bowl was a heck of a lot of fun to watch.
Yes, it was.
New Mexico, Minnesota. New Mexico's had a phenomenal season. The fact that they're in a bowl game is interesting. But New Mexico, Minnesota, Central Michigan, Northwestern, FIU, UTSA. I don't. None of those are. If those were on a typical Saturday, they would be like, oh look, that game's at 3:30. New Mexico, Minnesota, which I think is the best one today. That would be like the 5th best game on a 3:30 on a Saturday, I think. Penn State, Clemson has some intrigue just because of the car wreck aspect of it. Georgia Tech, BYU in the Pop-Tarts Bowl that's tomorrow. That if both teams show up ready to play. And Haynes King evidently is playing. That's going to be a very interesting game. I think BYU thinks it can say you guys should have we should have been considered for the playoff. If Georgia Tech regains its early season form, that'll be a phenomenal game. Missouri, Virginia could be interesting in a little bit of ways. Tennessee, Illinois could be interesting. USC, TCU, but for the most part, I think that Michigan, Texas. I'm fascinated to see what happens how many Michigan players show up. But the playoffs is the second round is what I'm waiting for. But in terms of today, New Mexico, Minnesota might be the best one. And again, New Mexico had a phenomenal first season under that Jason Eck. The fact that they're in a bowl game is sort of unreal because that program is horrible, and he's done a great job there this year.
You were talking about that Penn State train wreck game. We were talking the other day about how Dabo Swinney went from a culture of nobody ever opts out here to 27 guys, Hugie, overnight.
Yeah, and both those, those preseason top 3, 4, 5 teams. I actually thought, and I said on your show, of all the teams that had a chance to go unbeaten, I thought Clemson had the best chance because the ACC is garbage and their non-conference schedule was navigable. I was obviously way off. But yeah, and Penn State, gigantic disappointment. Before the season, if you had said Penn State and Clemson are playing in the postseason, I would have said
playoff,
potential national title game.
Yep.
And here they are playing in the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl in a baseball stadium.
Bino, I would go to that if I lived in Boston, wouldn't you?
New York, you mean?
I mean New York. I'm sorry, up there in your ballpark, Bino.
Yeah, absolutely. Just more underachievement in Yankee Stadium.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Bino taking a shot at his Yankees, who 2025 wasn't batty good to them. Hugie, all right, let's move along. My son is going to be at the Rose Bowl. Kind of a quirk of fate. His girlfriend's got a family friend marching in the parade out there, and they're all going out there and flying across the country to see it. I wish I had friends like that. But anyway, Hugie, from your perspective, do you think Alabama, by the time we talk again next week, will they be alive and well, or will they get hammered in that game?
I don't think they'll get hammered. I think they lose. Indiana, they're ranked number 1. They're the number 1 seed. I still think some people underrate them.
Mm-hmm.
I think the quality of their line play, it held up against Ohio State, so it'll hold up against Alabama. And I still wonder about Alabama's lack of a running game. Indiana's got a pretty good secondary. 3/4 of their starters are floor guys, so they can run. They're not the biggest, but they can run. Mendoza is a good quarterback. I think the difference is Indiana knows it will be able to run the ball, and Alabama is hoping it can run the ball. I also think that Indiana's playing with a great deal of confidence. I think they've taken the swagger from their coach and carried it over to the field. Would I be shocked if Alabama won? No. But I would be surprised if Alabama won just because I don't think Alabama can run the ball on Indiana. And I think that the fact that Alabama beat Oklahoma without being able to run the ball, I'm still shocked at that. And if Mateer doesn't throw the pick 6, I think that Oklahoma would have won. And I don't think Mendoza's throwing any pick 6s. So I think that Indiana wins in a good game, entertaining game. But again, a one-dimensional Alabama offense, it's going to cost them. It's hard to believe that Oklahoma lost to that team, considering that Alabama can't run the ball.
The great Mike Hugan moving left to right across your device and doing it with the greatest of ease. It's pretty outstanding. Hugie, all right, it's time for our Mover of the Week presented by our friends. And then I got a question for you on some transfer portal stuff because some guys that Tennessee's involved with, it's starting to come into view a little bit perhaps, but who the heck knows? Because all this stuff is shrouded in secrecy. And who in the world knows? As the great Hugie joins us. The Mover of the Week, presented by our friends at Gouffon Moving and Storage since 1887. And shout out to Taylor Gouffon. He's your 5th generation holding it down. Secured vaulted storage is a new offering. Commercial storage logistics. We're talking about receiving, storage, delivery services for all your business logistic needs. It is the moving game taken to the next level. And so, Hugie, from that perspective, your mover of the week is?
Moving down, Texas A&M. I think their performance was shaky enough to make you wonder about what's going to happen next year with A&M. Was this some kind of aberration? 4 of their 5 offensive line starters are seniors. The running game was supposed to be the biggest driver of their offense. Hugely disappointing. It didn't help. They had injuries at running back, but I think Reuben Owens showed last week that he may have been a 5-star recruit. He's just a guy as a running back. And Marcel Reed, early in the season, I'm like, going into the season, I'm like, I don't know if this guy is good enough. Then he had the big game against Notre Dame. He threw the game-winning touchdown pass and had some moments. First half of South Carolina, you're like, nope, I was right all along. Second half, oh my God, I was wrong. This guy's really good. And then last week, oh, this guy is who I thought he was. But, the up and down ride of Marcel Reed. Colin Klein's-Laven, they promoted their wide receiver coach to the offensive coordinator spot. I don't know if I'm A&M, if I come back next season with Marcel Reed, what's my season going to look like with an all-new offensive line, a rebuilt running back core, and a new wide receiver room? And I think my answer would be Texas A&M next season is the 8-4 Texas A&M we always see. I think they went from, mid-November, is this team good enough to win the national title, to now, a month later, or 5-6 weeks later, they're a middle-of-the-pack SEC team next year. And I think that's a gigantic move down. And Marcel Reed, I think, his play against Miami, his legs are his big weapon. The dude was sacked 7 times, which to me means the decision-making was bad as well.
Hugie, let's talk quarterbacks, and then I will bid you adieu, and I hope you have a Dwight Gooden, and it's pretty next level. Sorsby's market, from what I understand, if Tennessee wants to get in the Sorsby Derby, and I do think they like him best, is $4.5 million is what he's going to get from Texas Tech. So the Vols would probably have to get in the $4.75 million range. He's got a girlfriend that's going to Tech. They're going to make him a rich young man, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So let's say he doesn't give them a hometown discount, which his parents moved here for some reason. Sorsby, let's say he goes to Texas Tech. It looks like Tennessee, since they already have about $3 million tied up in quarterbacks for next year, which is the way this is. They've got a young man they signed, George McIntyre out of Nashville. He's a highly regarded prospect. And then they got a guy that's number 1 or number 2 in the class, depending on where you look in Faison Brandon. None of that comes cheaply. We're going to guesstimate that they have about $3 million tied up into those 2 guys next year, which is probably a fair guess. Tennessee is probably looking to spend somewhere right around $3 million, is my understanding. And I'm getting this from an agent who helps us under the condition of anonymity, and you know how the game is played. He's telling me the Leavitt market is moving slower than expected. Oregon, if Moore jumps out, might be thinking of jumping into the Leavitt market. So might LSU. So that kicks Tennessee down a notch. Hoover and Beck are kind of in that tier. Hoover's people want to go to Indiana. Both Rocco Becht and Pribula are in play at Penn State, but only one's going to end up there. And Penn State also does not want to run off the Grunkemeyer kid, who's played pretty well for him. So I'm concerned, Hugie, about this Hoover guy's lack of running numbers. Hoover, Becht, Leavitt, Hugie, if I made you choose between those 3, what would you choose for the Vols?
If Leavitt is 100% healthy, I would take Leavitt. I would take Hoover second. I think we talked about him either last week or 2 weeks ago. He throws a nice deep ball.
Yeah.
Beck to me is more of, and you know this, and I don't mean this derogatorily at all. He's more of a game manager kind of guy. But game managers win a heck of a lot of games because they generally are steady. Good game managers are steady guys who understand if we have to punt, that's better than me trying to force a ball in there. The fact that Brendan Sorsby may make $4.5 million is, to me, insanity.
Insane. Yeah.
Look at the last four. Cincinnati ended this season on a 4-game losing streak. And Sorsby, his completion percentage, he threw 5 picks in those 4 games. I'm sorry, 4 picks in those 4 games. He only threw 5 the whole season. Sorsby, to me, if you're a $4.5 million quarterback, you don't score 14 points against Utah, you don't score 14 points against BYU in losses. Now, I get the fact that quarterback is only as good as his surrounding talent, but I tend to think that elite level quarterbacks, and if you're paying a dude $4.5 million, he better be elite level, raises the boats. Everybody gets better with a $4.5 million quarterback. I am not sure Brendan Sorsby's that guy. I get the fact that he's a good runner and all that kind of stuff, but you know, he threw 27 touchdown passes. 5 were against an FCS team, 4 were against Oklahoma State, and 3 were against Bowling Green. So that's 12. Came in 3 games against absolute garbage opponents. Leavitt, I think you go back 2 years ago when he led Arizona State to the playoff. Yes, Scatterbo was the key guy, but Jordan Tyson, Leavitt made him better. Tyson's going pro. Leavitt had a good year this year when he was healthy. I like Sam Leavitt a lot. Hoover, I like Hoover, and I think one reason he wants to go to Indiana, he actually was committed to Indiana when he flipped to TCU in the recruiting process. Beck, to me, again, is the solid guy. I think that if I'm Penn State, I would much rather have Beck than Bo Pribula. I don't even know why that would even be a decision. I mean, either or. Come on, I'm taking Beck all day. But if I'm a huge Sam Leavitt fan, the injury aspect, supposedly his foot injury is such that he may not be ready for spring ball.
Yep.
That would be a problem, considering that he's going to a new team with a different offense. So, but to me, Leavitt is the best of those 3, with Hoover second and Beck third. I don't think that much of Beck's arm either. He doesn't have as strong as arm as Hoover does, but he is. I think that Leavitt is a smart football player, and as is Beck, and I think that's interesting. And also, those kind of guys you can win games with.
Hugan, you're the man. Anything else you'd care to add here on the way out? You've been incredible.
No, it's just the playoff. I think all 4 playoff games are going to be fascinating. I think Miami's defensive front is going to make things interesting for Ohio State.
Yep.
They haven't exactly played a lot of teams with great defensive lines.
Nope.
Miami's defensive line is better than Indiana's, and Indiana shut them down. I'm looking forward to that game. Georgia Ole Miss is the game that I'm least looking forward to. These teams already played. I know that was a phenomenal football game. I don't think Ole Miss is as good as it was then, and Georgia's a heck of a lot better than it was. And Oregon, Texas Tech, fascinating. Texas Tech's defensive front is for real. That's another one you wonder how Oregon's going to handle them, though I will say also this, Oregon's team speed, Texas Tech ain't seen anything like Oregon's team speed.
Hugie, you're the man. Hope you have a great Christmas and New Year holiday, and my best to you and your family, my brother.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks. Happy New Year.
The great Mike Hugan, one more time. He says that he's got quarterback at Arizona State, number 1, but he's coming off an injury and has to heal up and all that good stuff. He gave us the interesting thing about Hoover and Indiana and why Hoover people seem like they're initiating Indiana is that he, coming out of high school, was that's where he was going to go before he ended up at TCU. That's an interesting snugget there. Talked about the fact that Becht and Pribula, he doesn't understand why Rocco Becht didn't come first day cross country with Matt Campbell to be Penn State's quarterback next year. But he also said Becht doesn't throw the greatest deep ball. My problem with the Hoover guy is, and if Tennessee ends up with Hoover, it is what it is, but my problem with him is that he is not a willing runner, and this year he was turnover happy. So I do like the Levitt guy because he'll run. But one thing I want to discuss on the other side, and we'll get to it at 865-200-5402, is the rethinking of the way the quarterback position's approached. I'm not sure it's a smart thing what Tennessee's doing, tying up all that money with two young quarterbacks. I don't know what the point in that is, if I can just say that out loud. And again, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Just because you get somebody out of the portal doesn't mean they're going to be able to play and help you. DJ Youngalingi is a pretty good example of that. There are probably out of the portal, though, more hits than misses. If you look at the playoff teams, 2/3 of the playoff teams are quarterbacked by transfer quarterbacks, but you could probably get a lemon out of the portal too. So I want to ask Bino Embry about that as we continue on the other side, and then get your thoughts as we head into what will be a really interesting sports weekend. 865-200-5402 as we continue with more. Shout out to Mike Hugan, and presented by our friends at Gufan Moving and Storage. And they want to wish you the best during the holiday season. They're online at GufanMovingAndStorage.com. Absolutely, totally outstanding. Just outstanding people since 1887, going on 139 years. That feels kind of like how long it's been since we've won an SEC championship. Close. Kind of like that. As we continue with more, hour two after this.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
It's the hottest postgame show on the planet. Garza Law, fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Score a TD every time with T3 Vodka. T3 is Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. T3 Vodka is taking the Volunteer State by storm. T3 Vodka, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains, where quality isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. Filtered 10 times and 80 proof. T3 Vodka delivers a smoothness that's unmatched. This dedication to excellence has already earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades. T3 is a 5-time gold medal winning vodka and the 2025 SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner. Whether you're sipping it neat or on the rocks or mixing up your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka is your choice for a premium, award-winning experience. Score a T3 TD and ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right. Drink T3 Vodka and score a touchdown every time. T3, Tennessee's premium vodka. Distributed by Athens Distributing Company. Please drink responsibly. When it's time for a fresh coat of paint, run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. Interior and exterior, Walker's Painting's been making it beautiful since 1999 across the Knoxville area. New construction, repaints, commercial, residential, free estimates available. And get this, mention you heard Walker's Painting on the Basilio show, 10% off your first job. Let's go! know. Run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. 865-688-1410. That's 865-688-1410. Walker's Painting, making it beautiful since 1999. Check out the ad at the blog at tclub.team. Walker's Painting.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm gonna hop online and I'm gonna get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
Got a problem tree looming over your home? Call ECR Total Landscapes. Whether it's trimming, removal, or storm cleanup, our certified pros get the job done safely and efficiently. We're licensed, insured, and ready 24/7 for emergency calls. Big or small, we cut them all. ECR Total Landscapes. Call now for a free estimate, 865-384-2012, and mention promo code FANRUN for free stump grinding on any tree removal now through the end of the year. Also, visit us at ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Basilio here for Budget Transmissions. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, took his Ford Escape to budget, and like our Gold Bullet back in the day, it was a total mess. And now, Matt's back in the game. He's got a new transmission, axle, wheel bearing, both radiator hoses, engine mounts, coolant hoses. I mean, his Ford Escape was about to escape to the junkyard, but he didn't begrudge it. He took it to budget, and now he's on his way back to Omaha. Budget Transmissions, over 30 years in business, conveniently located in Bearden. All extended service contracts are honored. A gold certified Repair Pal member. 865-584-4391. 865-584-4391. Budget Transmissions. Don't begrudge it. Take it to budget.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama ZZ approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
VIP Play coming soon. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet. there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty. The holiday season is here, and if your plans include unwrapping your new home, then take advantage of less competition and motivated sellers while others are out fighting over parking spots at the mall. Smart buyers are out snagging deals on great homes, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and as always, go Vols!
TB back with you, 865-200-5402. If you want to get in the mix and in the hunt with us and in the hunt and in the mix, and we'd like to hear from you. Again, just to kind of give you a little recap of what Hugie was saying, talking about the quarterbacks that are on the market. Look, all this stuff's subject to change. There's a lot of moving parts here. What's Lane Kiffin going to do? Is the kid that played quarterback for Ole Miss is trying to get some kind of waiver? They don't know if it's going to happen, how that's going to work. So we'll see how that goes with Chambliss. But if they're in it, he's going to get aggressive, and he's going to jump in front of you and grab somebody because they have the money to do it. We've got money tied up in guys. And, I don't know. Here's the problem with GMAC. I'm just going to say it out loud because people are like, well, why, Sam Shocks, Sam in Nashville. And I love him. Why don't we just play him? Tennessee, he's not gaining weight. They're not going to play a guy who can't put weight on. She's not going to do that at that level. And so if a guy can't put weight on, Bino, what am I supposed to do? I don't want to say they're alarmed by it, but they're a little frustrated by his ability to gain weight to this point. Are they just going to play him, Bino, if he's not gaining weight? I mean, how do you do that? What does Bino say to that?
Yeah, I mean, Tony, I just think Tennessee got caught in an in-between here.
Yeah.
Where GMAC is, they don't think that he's physically ready, especially for the schedule that they're going to face next year.
Yeah.
And you've got a freshman coming in. This may be a year where you just have to bite the bullet and invest more in a quarterback position than you generally would, and then hope that things settle down to where you've got one major moneymaker on campus and another guy to back him up going forward.
Somebody asked him, Bino, why is it so hard to put on weight? For some athletes, okay? For some athletes at this age, especially the tall, thin types, it's extremely hard to put on weight, Bino. Extremely hard.
He didn't put on the freshman. I guess the freshman 15 missed him.
Interesting. For some guys, it's extremely hard to put on weight. Weight problems, you can go two ways with weight problems in sports. You can have too much and not enough. So Hugie said the following. Guys, I just want to hit the reset button here. We were talking about, and again, just to repeat, the way the board looks right now. And the critics out there, and there are some over on YouTube, the critics are always going to criticize. It's what critics do. And that's okay. Hypel makes a lot of money. People inside of his organization make a lot of money. Yada, yada, yada. The word on the street is the Sorsby guy is going to command a figure around $4.5 million from Texas Tech. Now, Hugie said, Beanstar, he thinks that's totally insane for a guy whose team lost their last 4 football games and he wasn't exactly lighting it up down the stretch. But that just goes to show you that in these sports, it only takes one to fall in love. Because I do think Sorsby is the one guy probably the one guy that Tennessee truly, truly wanted here. Because he can run around a little bit, make some plays. But you're not paying him $5 million being able to do that, are you?
I certainly wouldn't think you would, Tony, if you can get Levitt for less. Levitt would have been my preference, all things being equal. But now with Levitt, you have to make sure that you're going to have a healthy product once next football season starts. He got that Lance Frank foot injury, and I think that's a 6-month rehab. And I mean, if what you're looking for is combined guy that can throw and a guy that can run, you got to make sure his mobility is going to be similar too.
Yeah, and that's where, you need a guy who can hit the long pass. The one thing Hugan was saying is when you start talking about Levitt, and the market's moving slower on Levitt than expected. In other words, from his perspective, there aren't a ton of suitors because there are some big guys that have to fall first. And one of them, Sorsby. And then what's going to happen with LSU and Chambliss. And you look at the top of the sport. The top of the sport is the top of the sport is the top of the sport. Tennessee's at the top of the sport. The question is, how wise is it to tie close to $3 million up in a couple of guys that aren't going to see the field next year? But then if you don't do that, and either GMAC or Brandon develop into superstars in the sport, you look like a damn fool.
Yeah, just real world problems here, Tony.
It's crazy. I mean, it's nuts. It's nuts. So Levitt's market's moving slower than expected. Oregon, there's a thought they might jump in on him. Look, he's playing on in that time zone already. Obviously, Oregon's way on up there in a FEMA quadrant. What FEMA quadrant was that that Jerry Colquitt taught us? Is he FEMA quadrant?
That's 4?
4. He's 4. I think we're FEMA quadrant 10 when we get rounded up. But the Vols are interested in Levitt. They're interested in Hoover, and they're interested in Becht. Hugan reiterated that Hoover is the best long ball thrower of the bunch. He does not think, Bino, that Becht has a long ball arm. He thinks that's a little odd. That's his opinion. Again, Matt Dixon thinks that Becht would be an upgrade over what we saw here last year. Matt Dixon's opinion, and Matt's a takesman. But we'll go to the phones. Hoover's people want Indiana, is what I was told. And it lines up with what Hugan told me, which is that coming out of high school, that's where Hoover was going to go to school. But then he ended up at TCU. I guess they had a coaching change, yada, yada, yada. He ended up at TCU, and now he could come back, get back in the mix and in the Becht and Fabiola are both involved at Penn State. Of course, Becht played at Iowa State for Matt Campbell, who's now at Penn State. Fabiola started at Penn State. Bino, I don't think the Fabiola guy's enough of a thrower to play in this offense. Do you?
Tony, I haven't seen enough of him to say for sure. He's played in a similar offense anyway to what we run that probably doesn't rely on the deep ball the way that we do. Hoover obviously had the same issues coming in that people were scared about Joey about, which was way too many turnovers, and Joey certainly cut that way back this year, so there's no reason to believe that Hoover couldn't as well. Doesn't run as well. So, I'm a believer that we need someone that's a capable and willing runner to make this offense hum the way that we want it to hum.
And then the other thing up for grabs, if you want to talk about it, is the opt-outs are falling now for the Music City Bowl. And I think a lot of fans are going to opt out of that Music City Bowl when you see that advanced forecast. Bri, do you think a mid-30s degree day with the winds whipping off that lake, does that sound like a fun day to you, sitting outside in Nashville watching some college football?
No, absolutely not. But it's going to be dry. So with all these opt-outs, with Joseph's opting out and Hood already out and Arian Carter, the over 61.5 looks very, very good.
Tennessee's edge rusher, Joshua Josephs, we told you leading up to this that was probably going to happen. They were expecting that. He's the 5th player to opt out for NFL draft purposes. Arian Carter, we don't blame. He has 2 turf toes. He was playing in a lot of pain there at the end of the year, which we didn't realize, but he's got 2 turf toes, so there you have it. The Hood thing's a little surprising to me in that he's been given a 3rd-day grade. He went from first round to 3rd day. But who knows? Maybe if he goes out and has a great combine. There we go. To the phones we go. Negative says, go all in on Byron Brown. Negative. Byron Brown's going to go play at Auburn. That's why we're not discussing him. A lot of these guys will follow their coaches. People say, well, what about the kid down there at the Texas Directional School? He's gone to Oklahoma State with his Mestemeyer. He's gone to Oklahoma State with his head coach. It's how it works. Let's go to the phones. I mean, obviously, in a perfect
Tony,
world,
not that my preference makes any difference whatsoever. I wouldn't have gone to either site, but I wish Tennessee was playing Saturday night in the Gator Bowl down there against Virginia rather than in Nashville. My hope is that if they indeed had a choice between those two and they chose Nashville, that the players had some input in there.
To the phones we go, 865-200-5402. These days, how many things are done for monetary reasons?
100%?
I probably think that's about right, Bino. Let's go to the phones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in as we take our first call of the day.
Hello, Tony, and hello, Bino.
You can't lead off. You know the rules. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Late happy birthday, my friend and compatriot.
Hey, W. Lynn, welcome in.
I tried to call on your birthday, and it was a busy day, but I just wanted to wish you a late happy birthday.
Thank you. I needed that.
On this college football, they're going to have an age limit of 23 or 24 years old. I mean, are we getting somebody? Is somebody trying to get a guy from NFL Europe, from Germany? I mean, what's going on?
No, we were talking about the fact that there's a kid from Baylor who played basketball over in Europe who never signed with the NBA, but he's coming back to play at Baylor, where he started. And he's going to be
how old is he?
He's going to be eligible second semester. So
they're going to have an age limit. That's just the only way to stop all this.
Can they enforce an age limit, Bino? You think they can enforce an age limit with no collective bargaining?
And I think going forward, the real problem with college athletics is what the courts see as legal in a lot of cases is not going to be good for college athletics.
Right.
Yep. It's kind of like this whole thing with Joey football and people having the conversation about, well, if Diego Pavia can do it, why don't we just wipe off all your years? Hey, look, if you play 2 or 3 years at a junior college and you tell me that doesn't count, W. Lynn, if you work out in whatever level of college football you're playing in, you'll be 25, 26, 27 by the time you finish, W. Lynn.
That's exactly right. Now, that's getting a little bit too out of hand.
I would say. I would say.
So on to another subject. Tomorrow we have the first Power 4 versus Power 4 football game, and it was already discussed. Do you guys know what it is?
Bino, what do you got?
Penn State, Clemson.
That's it.
Wow, that's awesome.
And of all things, the people like my dad that like the old bowl system, to hear that thing is being played in Yankee Stadium, I think they'd be spinning in their grave.
It just kind of is what it is,
but,
man.
That's first. Who won the Hawaii Bowl, by the way?
Hawaii beat Cal.
Okay, that's the first Power 4 team to lose. Of all the bowl games we've had, there's only been 4 of them with Power 4 teams. But, Tony, your family has the honor of the first Power 4 versus Power 4 with Penn State.
It's pretty next level. I'm sure they're really excited to be the Penn State team did show some spirit at the end of the year, which I guess is
they did
commendable. But playing Clemson with 27 opt-outs, how do you end a year where you fire a coach like in September, in a year that you thought you were contending for the national championship? You went and got Jim Knowles as your DC, and you went all in and the whole deal.
Yep.
You end that year getting popped by Clemson, who has 27 opt-outs. Like you lose to Clemson's JV. That's how you end that season.
Yeah, and these opt-outs, I did read where in the Big 12, Kansas State and Iowa State, I believe, were fined $500,000 each for refusing to go to the bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the SEC has any kind of rule like that or not, but
it's pretty next level.
You know, for the future, I think Notre Dame ought to be combined with the ACC, and they get one automatic bid. Those two combined.
What do you think, Bino?
Well, I mean, from my side looking into it, I think that Notre Dame should have to join a conference. If I were a Notre Dame fan, I would likely feel different, especially since now I think they've got some kind of deal where if they're ranked in the top 12, they're automatically in. That certainly won't push them to join a conference.
Has that deal actually been passed, or is that just what they want?
No, I think it goes into effect next year.
No, that's ridiculous. But you know, I've been trying to find out how many scholarship people we have on campus, and I asked Siri. I said, "How many scholarships are involved in Lady Vol soccer, volleyball, and softball?"
Mm-hmm.
And danged if a picture of Danny White didn't pop up and said I had to send $20 to him to get that answer.
That's pretty next level.
And did you hear about a new program Danny White started?
I have not.
If you get an insurance policy where the UT Athletic Department, minimum $20,000 when you pass, you're considered a vol donor for afterlife. And they will send a UT orange and white wreath to your service. It says vol donor for the afterlife, and encourage your family members to also sign up.
VFAF. Thank you, my friend. That's a very interesting program. It sounds extremely inviting, the VFAF program. Okay, caller, go back in. Welcome in. All right, he's watching something on television. Hello and welcome in to our next call. You are on the air.
Hey, Tony, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Oh, I'm better than I deserve, man. Glorious holiday just observed and everything. Unfortunately, what I get to hear is that we're scrambling for a quarterback that, in my opinion, we shouldn't pay for. It's ridiculous to tie up $7 million in one position room. It's ridiculous, and I blame Josh Hypel for it.
Well, I don't know that it's fair to blame Josh Hypel for that. I mean,
well, he's the head coach. He goes out and he wants these quarterbacks.
You're caught in a spot, though. I mean, it's just everybody's
And
caught.
whose fault is that?
Everybody's caught, though. Everybody's caught. Look, if you
not
try...
with two freshman quarterbacks, and one's going to be a redshirt freshman.
If you try But look, if you try to grow your own, right, and you try to thread that needle for a year...
Okay.
I mean, yeah, okay.
Then here's what you do.
Go ahead.
You hire, and plus you hire a defensive coordinator where it's commonly known that his first season is not going to be one, I guess, revealed in glory, I guess you could say. It takes him 2 seasons to get his defense up to par. Well, I would rather go spend that money you'd spend on a quarterback, go get a couple of linebackers who've played in his system and know it, or some safeties, and bolster his defense, and hopefully you can get away with what you got away with Nico, in that you can play one of these quarterbacks and them do just enough to not lose you games, and and maybe go get another top level running back, and lean on the running game again.
Bino, what do you say to that? Because they don't feel like the McIntyre guys are big enough to do this. And I guess the whole idea is you're not going to put a 17-year-old Brandon out there, Beanstar.
Obviously the statute of limitations is about to run out on this, but I still go back to the Nico deal, which has kind of put us in this position. I think they felt like that Nico would be here and be their quarterback for 3 years. Their starter for 3 years. And then at that time, they would move right on to the heirs, which would be either McIntyre or Faison. So I think they've been put in a spot that, because they want to build their program around high school recruiting and then just supplement from the portal. And I think him leaving at least one season and possibly 2 seasons early kind of caught them by surprise.
And I'll tell you this, Parker, from your perspective, because this is an interesting thing you're bringing up. If, in fact, Bino's right with the whole Nico deal and he still kicked them into this destabilizing deal, he's got a decent point, because Nico is coming back next year at UCLA and never even entertained going to the NFL. So maybe that was Tennessee's thought all along. Who knows? I mean, I have no idea.
But here's the thing, okay? First of all, with quarterbacks, you cannot put that many eggs in one basket. But my thing is, this season, there are no red shirts anymore, okay? That is, in theory, really only. Why are you worried about preserving George McIntyre's red shirt and not getting him ready? What if Joey Aguilar goes down?
You're not listening. He looks like Manute Bol in a football uniform.
I don't care. Then why did you recruit him in the first place? If he's that frail and that
to put some weight on him,
he played football.
To put some weight on him and get him ready for the rigors of SEC competition, you're not going to put a guy out there till he's ready.
The lesson that has been learned is, if that's the case, sock him away at a G5 school, okay, but bring somebody else in, okay? Because, and do you think that it was just an epiphany that Merklinger wasn't going to be the guy? They knew that last season.
They knew
they
that.
had to have known that last season.
They knew he couldn't play.
So why not bring somebody in with Joey Aguilar?
Because these guys are, well, first of all, it was May, and secondly, these guys are really expensive. You're getting on Hypel for something that's just, to me, not fair. But now, you could say...
It is fair. He's the one that constructed the roster. He's the one that wanted these quarterbacks. Okay? And, oh, by the way, his only success with quarterbacks here at Tennessee has been ones that he hasn't evaluated. that he had to go to. All of his guys that he wanted didn't work out and haven't worked out. Okay, but my thing is right now, and he put himself behind the eight ball again by hiring a defensive coordinator who has a system that's so complicated it takes 2 seasons. Well, I guess we're going to relive the COVID season, because I remember, people on the radio were saying, "Oh, COVID year won't count. Ask Jeremy Pruitt if it doesn't count." So don't tell me this season won't count. That's easy to say in December.
Who's going to say that? I'm not saying that.
But here's what you're going to hear from people. This is what I'm going to tell you. You're going to hear from people. Oh, well, we need to give this defensive coordinator time to instill his. Well, you say that when we go 7-5.
Well, I think and I appreciate the call. It's going to be a curious offseason. It's going to be really curious to see them try to thread the needle with this thing here. Because I'm telling you, they're looking at this McIntyre guy and they're going, he's not big enough. Now, people can say, whatever. And they might end up having to play him. It might end up falling to him. Because this quarterback market that we're talking about, as you can see, when you start looking at the pieces and the movement, and then you could get into the point of, in the next couple of weeks, trying to pull somebody into the thing that you didn't really think about. And then you're off the board and you're going to somebody, and maybe that's your first play all along. And you're just playing poker with people, like they were on the defensive coordinator thing. But the agent that I'm talking to has got a pretty good feel for this stuff. Seems to think that Tennessee is involved with a couple of guys, and that Sorsby is one. But if you're going to pay for Sorsby and you're the Vols, you better come in at $5 million. And then all of a sudden, you're chewing up $8 million. So,
I'll say this right now, Tony. I would not give Sorsby any $5 million. No way in the world.
And this other thing we were talking about before is this Najee guy from Baylor. Najee guy went 31st overall 2023 NBA draft. So 2023, 2024, 2024, 2025. And now we're in 2025, 2026. He, after a year at Baylor, he comes back and he's going to play now at Baylor and enroll and be able to play right away, because he never signed with the NBA, but he went overseas. And that's going to clear the path for some other guys to come back to school. And the next step is, if I went to college ball or went to the NBA and I made a mistake and I'm in the bus leagues and I want to come back and I want to get that payroll because I'm tired of playing in the G League in front of 50 people, and I want to come back and I want to play in college, I'm going to sue you and I'm going to win. And I really do think that's – I'm like with Bino. Till I see otherwise, the NCAA, they don't win in court. I mean, they're the Washington Generals. Or if you're a USFL fan, they're the Washington Federals of Craig James and Mike Hohensee. They don't win in court. Take a brief time out, continue. The Federals had cool uniforms, though, after this. Are you currently a residential electrician? Would you like more benefits, better pay, more upside? What about a $3,000 signing bonus? Free company-paid health insurance, annual profit share, company vehicle, gas card, much more. Call Advent Electric today. Advent, known for their large commercial jobs around town, and due to high demand, they're adding additional roles for their residential department. Maybe you know a friend, family member that's a residential electrician. Spread the word. Email hr@adventelectric.com. hr@adventelectric.com. 865-588-0631 and ask for the Tony B 3K signing bonus. Advent Electric is hiring. You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land. Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contract. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting.
College football fans, Chris Fowler here with the play call. This season, go for Dose with ice-cold, refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a 2-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dose with Dos Equis.
Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Tony Basilio, and we are live once again with Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, you're out there on the field, 100 strong here in Knoxville. Talk to me. What's been going on with FC Alliance now that the weather's heating up?
We're out here for the first night of the boys' tryouts. We have over 400 kids that'll be here tonight. So a lot of exciting times right now for us. Our club team start at U9 and we go all the way through U19. We have over 1,000 kids that come from Chattanooga from the Tri-Cities that make all our teams and make this club what it is today. So we're excited about it. We finished the younger kids a couple of weeks ago. We just finished the girls last night, and now we're on to our older boys program as we speak right now.
And we're blowing and going in the Tri-Cities. Tell me about it.
We started FC Alliance North 1 year ago, and coming off the first year, we are the largest, most competitive club up in the Tri-Cities area. We just finished our tryouts last night. Looks like right now we will be well over 400 kids for the upcoming season. So great things happening up there. We've put our boys into some really good regional leagues. So we're excited about what the future holds for them and also our girls programs.
If you want more information, check them out at fcallianceknox.org. That's fcallianceknox.org. Chad Stockton, keep growing the beautiful game here in East Tennessee.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tony.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
The season of giving reminds us of what truly matters, community and connection. Hi there, Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. As the year closes, I wanted to take a moment to sincerely thank you, my Basilio family clients. Thank you for trusting me with your most important decisions. Whether it was finding your first home or successfully closing a chapter, your trust means everything. I look forward to new and continued relationships through the new year, and feel free to reach out to me at 865-694-5904 or nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and of course, go Vols!
Basilio here with my buddy, Connexio Kristen.
Hey, Tony. Good to see ya.
Connexio builds fleet technology that helps transportation and logistics companies win big. Live GPS, easy ELD and compliance tools, AI dash cameras, and asset tracking, all backed by the .1 U.S. customer support team. Want a better playbook for your operations? Visit Connexio.com/Tony. That's KONEXIAL.com/Tony. Connexio, built for drivers, trusted by fleets, and proud Vol fans.
Do we have a special tweet for you as I welcome you back? A live, ladies and gentlemen, winners and losers is on the way. Coming up, I don't know, about 15 or so. Here over on our app and anywhere else where you hear us. Presented by our friends at VIP Play / Dos Equis. And we're pretty fired up, focused, and prepared to bring that to you. Bino's got something he wants to get off his chest before we go back to the phones where callers come first today. Go ahead, Bino.
Yeah, just real quick, Tony, something's kind of been on my mind. You know, back before the season started, back last summer, you were talking about Hypel's program losing altitude, and I kind of blanched at that. I thought, you know, coming off a playoff season, that wasn't something that should have even been discussed. But and anyone that's listened to this show for 5 minutes knows I'm a pretty big Hypel disciple, just out of thankfulness for the mess that he drug us out of fairly quickly. But I will say, Tony, I do think that Josh Hypel is at a crossroads. Because of all the changes that have come about in the game since he took over, and I think that the decisions that are made this offseason, starting with the change at the defensive coordinator, what you do at quarterback, how you bolster your defense, going into a 9-game SEC season, and everything's been accelerated on these coaches now, even more so than we were accustomed to. I think that the success or lack thereof of the decisions that are made this offseason are going to go a long way toward determining the length of his tenure here. I think this is a critical offseason.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And my comments were really about just the lack of zip in the portal last year. It just really concerned me. And maybe I overreacted in using that terminology. I probably did. But I agree with Bino. At the same time, I'm going to defend him against the last call. All these guys are trying to figure out, how do I thread this needle? How do I thread this needle? And that's why we're having this discussion today. This is a real world, real thing, giving it to you straight. This is what's going on in real time in that complex, but really across the board. And it's, hey, we want this guy Sorsby. Parents live here now. I don't think it's related to this recruitment, but it helps. Doesn't hurt. But there's a huge whale in the market that's overspending. And they're going to make this guy a $4.5 million quarterback. That's nuts. Because the next tier of guys, as I was saying, that they're going to get involved with are these $3 million guys, which is the guy at Arizona State, and the Hoover guy, who wants to go to Indiana, by the way, but is that going to work out for him? Who knows? Rocco Becht, how well does he fit your offense or doesn't fit your offense? I have no idea. I don't pretend to know these things. And then, you know, our last call, well, he doesn't know how to find a quarterback anyway. I mean, come on now. And is it their fault that they've got a guy who's just not gaining weight? I mean, and it's a little frustrating, but I'm sure it's frustrating for him. It's not because he's not trying. It's just that certain people have certain metabolisms. Or somebody said, well, they put 20 pounds on Mosby. I mean, okay, fine. I mean, I'm just telling you, I didn't do it. I put on 20 pounds in like the last month and a half. I'm not trying to do it. I would love to have that metabolism. Are you kidding me? Y'all. Let's go to the phone.
I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I went to the Chesapeake's, Freddie and I went to Chesapeake's buffet yesterday.
Oh!
Send him out there, big boy. You talk about some fine grub for Christmas.
Let's go back to the phones and get our next call. It sounds like Greg in there laughing. Hello, welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony.
Bang! I knew your laugh.
You knew my laugh, didn't you? Hey, I too want to say a belated happy birthday to you, brother.
Thank you, Greg. I'm counting backwards now. Let's not think about depressing thoughts.
And I'm going to kind of continue on with what Bino just stated about Hypel.
Okay.
But let me ask you a question. And I was sitting here before I get into what I was going to tell you about.
Yep.
And I'm trying to think before all this craziness happened several years ago, before all this craziness with college football has happened, with all this money going out the door every which way.
Yep.
I was thinking about Peyton Manning. He was one guy I was thinking about. Did he not come in his freshman year and take over?
Freshman year?
He began to play
at the end of the year. Yeah,
Mississippi State game, I believe, in his freshman year.
True freshman year, yes.
Okay. And did he get a lot of high school accolades coming out of high school? Any awards, big awards or anything?
Peyton Manning?
Yeah.
He was number one quarterback in that class. That's how they built one of the best classes in school history.
Yeah, I knew that, but did he actually get any national awards?
I have no idea. I don't. I know he was I think he was the highest rated guy in that class.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew that. I was thinking about any recognition that he got from organizations that cover national high school sports. And I'm leading to this Brandon kid. His size and his athletic ability is out of this world. You can't criticize a athletic player that he can't do it in college because he's not been there long enough. I don't agree with that. This kid won the National High School Federation Association. I think that's what that is.
Yes.
And the NHSTA National Player of the Year. National Player of the Year. Hypel's got a guy right there already, in my opinion, from what I've seen of him video-wise and what I read about this kid. They need to prepare him to start this coming year.
Greg, you know how old that kid is?
And I know you're not going to like that.
No, I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just telling you how old he is. I'm telling you the reality of this. You know how old that guy is? He's 17 years old. You know what he'll be midway through the football season next year? 17 years old.
Greg, well, you can't down him for that.
Greg, I'm not downing him, but nobody's going to play a 17-year-old quarterback against Texas and 23-year-old Arch Manning. It's just not going to happen. Arch Manning sat there for 3 years, Greg. A 17-year-old playing against Texas defense and LSU's defense and A&M's defense.
Let me ask you then, think back, guys. What did we do years ago when all this money stuff wasn't happening? What did they do years ago? They prepared the guys to play, man. That's what I'm talking about. Nobody opted out years ago either. That pisses me off as well. You know, they're getting paid money now, and they're opting out of bowl games.
I don't understand that.
Are you scared to play? I don't get it.
Yeah, they are scared to play. They don't want to get hurt.
Well, you might walk out your house and fall down the stairs. I mean, hell, you can't live your life scared.
You got that right, Greg. I've done that 3 or 4 times in like the last month alone.
Well, that's all I got, brother.
You're the man, Greg.
I mean,
you're the man. Hey, Greg, a 17-year-old court, and I love you, and I love your show. You know I'm an admirer of you and your work. Bino, what are the chances that they start a 17-year-old quarterback this fall at UT?
Against what may be the best schedule that we've ever had here.
Yes.
I don't think they're very good. Another thing, Greg, that I think occurs today that didn't in the past is at the Power 4 level, when your goals are what Tennessee's goals are, every single year is a referendum on the head football coach.
That's right.
And they're not going to put
Yep.
They're not going to put their career in the hands of a kid that's never played any college football against one of the top schedules in America.
And I love you, Greg, because you're my guy, man. I love your passion. You know, I've always loved your passion. I think you're nuttier than a fruitcake sometimes, but I love you. By the way, a holiday party edition of Winners and Losers presented by our friends at Dos Equis /VIP play. It is unbelievable, Andy. It is unbelievable. Unbelievable, Andy. Coming up here at the conclusion of the program. Let's go back to the phones. I do want to remind you, my friends at VIP Play, full slate of games today, full slate of games tomorrow. Some games on the NFL card tomorrow, including my Philadelphia Eagles, who continue to be a gold standard team in the NFL. Yes, they've had injuries. Yes, they've had weird things happen. Yes, they are dominating and destroying their division. They're just dominating. Cowboys get to play. Cowboys got to enjoy their Super Bowl yesterday. Hey, Cowboy Nation, huge game, huge win for you. I clap for you, man. Get that big win over there on Netflix. It's great seeing Emmitt Smith being interviewed. I love Emmitt Smith, one of my all-time favorite players, and I do mean that. Son down there at Texas A&M, that's a great story. I love me some Emmitt. Hey, shout out to Cowboy Nation. I love y'all. Y'all are to be commended for who y'all are. Literally the 98 degrees of the NFL. Bye. Shout out to my friends at VIP Play. The welcome bonus, $20.
That's not 98 degrees.
Who's that?
That's, I think, NSYNC. It says bye.
Is NSYNC the one that Justin Timberlake was a part of? Where they were dancing
either that or Backstreet Boys.
They were dancing at the Backstreet's back. All right. Anyway, you bet $20, you get $100 in bonus bets. The promo code and the phrase that pays is TN Tony. What if you want to have a little fun today when you're watching these awful bowl games? And by the way, if I had my way, I'd be on all day with you. We'd do like a watch party all the way, if I had my way. 200 leagues, live always, numerous bet types, props, options. If you got a bet in mind, you can't find it on your book, VIP Play will create it for you if it's a compliant event and bet type in the state of Tennessee. If you have a gambling problem, 800-889-9789, 21 and over, located in the great state of Tennessee to place a bet. And let me tell you something. I saw Bino's VIP Play account last week, and I'm jealous. I am pretty jealous of the fall he's had because he had some Deshae Monet in there. Shout out to Dak Prescott, though. That was incredible. Cavante Turpin, former USFL great of the Jersey Generals. Ford it, not again it. Unbelievable, Cowboys. For those about the Rock, we salute you. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, guys, Dave.
Hit it, Dave. I got 3 minutes.
Brandon Faison, he turns 18 on June 1st.
Okay, we're going to play. Okay, hang on.
We're not going to do that. No, I'm just telling you, he's not going to be. He'll be 18 at the beginning of the year.
Right.
So
18. Okay.
Tony, you've always talked about the portal thing. Is that we've got to talk people into the portal. And you got to identify guys, and you got to talk them. So I look at Signetti.
Right.
Do you think at the end of last year they waited all the way to the end to go after Mendoza? Do you think they were involved with Mendoza before the Indiana season ended last year?
Oh, no. They talked him right into the portal. You're right.
Yeah, they did. And our guy should have 2 or 3 guys that he's been looking at during the year because they knew this they've known this situation, Tony, from the very beginning of the year.
But Dave,
when Nico walked out the door.
Dave, what if the guy is Texas Tech's quarterback who's going to go there from Cincinnati who told them, hey, Neyland Stadium, he gave that quote back in the summer, and then Texas Tech comes in and buys a guy right out from under you.
Well, you got to have 2 or 3 you're going after, Tony. You got to be way ahead of the game.
Dave, you going to spend $5 million on that guy?
No,
I'm not spending
$5 million for that guy.
So is that Hypel's fault then?
No, it's not Hypel's fault, but he ought to have a backup plan, and then the backup plan to that plan.
Well, I'm sure they do. That's kind of what we've been discussing because I think it's going to be very difficult to get that kid. Now, who knows? Maybe he gives them the home down discount of all time, Dave. Maybe he does that.
Because you got to be, his lack of urgency. We talked about that last year, and
I think he's shown some this offseason, though, Dave.
Well, yeah, he's showing a pulse, that's for sure.
Yeah, give him some credit.
The defensive coordinator.
Yep, give him some credit.
Go ahead, guys.
I really think the fact that they're so heavily involved, apparently in the quarterbacks in the portal, says a whole lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dave, I love you. Enjoy your 7-week-old prosciutto and your bitter almonds. My main man, William Pattison, up next.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
We got so much to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, but you know what? It is time for Winners and Losers, presented by our friends at Go for Dos Equis. In fact, you could say that Overtime today is presented by our friends at Go for Dos Equis. And shout out to our friends at VIP Play as well. And we've got a cast and crew that we're going to get in here, including Willie D. Heflin's going to join us. And we've got some other folks as well. It is absolutely next level. I'm so roached that I told Lee to get on Skype, and he told me Skype's not a thing anymore. Oh, Beanstar, I love you. You know it.
I know it, Tony. I love you too.
Let's bring the chef in. Chef, how was Christmas, Chef? Will Heflin, ladies and gentlemen.
It was good, Tony. How was your Christmas?
I love you. I'm glad it's over. Bah humbug. But you know what? This year I had a better attitude about Christmas. I decided to enjoy it. The great Mark Griffin asked me to do something on my birthday, which really blessed me and enhanced the season, which is go and play for an hour at an assisted living place where his lovely mother is living. And I got to tell you, that was a special thing. We also were blessed as a family to have some wonderful time together over the last couple of days, which is just a wonderful thing. And then just this opportunity to come together here and just approach the season with the gratitude of what it means to me, and just kind of try to keep myself away from some of those things that have a deleterious impact on just the media I consume. Those things have a deleterious impact on my spirit and mind. So here we are, man. I'm ready to talk about this sports weekend in front of us, the playoffs in front of us. Will, and how have you done so far in the bowls, Will?
You know, I haven't really got into them too much.
Nice.
Which I feel good about because I don't know that I would have done very well. So just try to stick more to the playoffs and the ones where you think are going to be a little bit more meaningful. But again, if you can get early on one of those bowls on before some news, or a lot of them very quickly as soon as they came out. So
yep.
You want to be really early, or so late you're still early. You know what I mean?
The problem, though, guys, and Bino, especially with these lower bowl games, the problem is that if I jump in and say I'm all hot for Clemson against Penn State, Bino, then they have 27 opt-outs. What have I done?
Yeah, I mean, Tony, you I don't know. I don't know that there's any benefit in jumping in early. I mean, some of these games have jumped, like Cal and Hawaii, for some reason, jumped like a touchdown in the day before the game. And it didn't look like it was opt-outs or anything like that. I've never seen a game flip a touchdown.
Let me bring Lee in here. Hey, Lee, what was that about, ma'am? Why did that Cal line jump like that?
Or it may have been Washington State. I can't remember, Lee, the game it was, but one of them jumped from a team being about a 1.5-point favorite to catching like 5.5.
Lee's transporting two of our man's best friend right now to new homes. I love him.
Beautiful.
Lee, talk to me. Why did we see the movement line like that?
Yeah, so pretty much what we're seeing in like a lot of these bowl games is on the day of the game, like once limits go up for these bowl games, like money's coming in on one side and it's just books moving these lines. Like whether or not that money's coming in because somebody's got some information about maybe an opt-out or something, that's always a possibility. But yeah, we've seen it in several games. We'll continue to see it on the day of the game where you'll see these bowl games move like 3, 4, 5, 7 points sometimes. Like the Louisville game moved like 5 points. And I'll tell you this, like normally in the past, like if you chase that steam, like you've been pretty good, even if you're taking a worse number on game day. But this year, that hasn't been the case. Like Louisville moved 5 points, but they didn't cover the original numbers. So you got to kind of take it as it is with a grain of salt.
Well, I was talking to the boys about this Clemson deal. What happens if you bet on Clemson, Lee, and then you have 27 opt-outs?
Well, I mean, so at the beginning when these lines were originally released, like if you got a pretty good idea of what's going to happen with some of these players, you can go ahead and jump in on something. Like once you find out, say, a quarterback is going to enter the portal or opt out or something like that, that's a pretty good signal that perhaps that team might not be all that motivated and they're going to have a lot more opt-outs, right? So you got to take each one on an individual basis, but for the most part, like the books are kind of flying blind in this too. Like they don't have all the answers. It's like I said last week, like with uncertainty comes a lot of opportunity with these bowl games.
Which is very interesting. And I give you guys a lot of credit. You all told me that the game you were really looking forward to was the Hawaii-Cal game, and that turned out to be the belle of the ball from those early season games. The Christmas Eve game was certainly extremely interesting. I hope it was profitable for both of you.
Yeah, it was. Like I had Hawaii and I had the over in that game. So yeah, that was the one good bowl game I've had so far. The rest of them have not been so great. It's been a pretty low level product with these G5 teams. We've talked about the difference in like G5 since they started getting picked apart by the power conferences. Now that we're in bowl season and we're getting a lot of these players on those teams opt out and leave, like you're really seeing a pretty low level product from these G5 teams.
All right, let's start things off today on our winners and losers presented by our friends at Dos Equis. We go for Dos. And by the way, we've never done this before, but if you want to throw a game in there or you got a thought on something and you want to throw it in, since we are doing this live and we're doing it from the studio, let's have like a little party here. As by the way, for those of you just tuning in, Josephs has opted out from the Vols. He joins Colton Hood, who opted out. who joins Brazel, who opted out, who joins Arian Carter, who opted out, who joins Peyton Lewis, who opted out. A few of those are opting out for the NFL. Is there anybody else, Brad, that I'm missing in terms of kind of frontline guys that they were expecting?
Yeah, Tennessee's 3 of their better defensive players won't be playing. And I think this might be a game where the Vols offensively, if they get a touchdown, they should consider surprise onside kicking to keep the ball.
And by the way, Illinois is losing their best offensive lineman, who's thought to be a very high of the mark draft pick, their best defensive lineman, and their leading tackler from their linebacking core. So both teams have key losses. Both teams have both starting quarterbacks. To Lee's point, look, when you look at one of these games and you see, and we're not talking about the playoff games. We're talking about the bowl games that are now going on around the playoff games, and they're almost like window dressing. But tomorrow you're going to have Power 4 on Power 4 football games, and the first one is that Penn State-Clemson game. It's pretty interesting. I mean, Penn State's got a backup quarterback they're pretty happy with, who they're going to try and keep there. Who's been pretty good, but they're also going to play in the portal. They're trying to thread that needle that we're trying to thread. And when I say we're, I mean the University of Tennessee, where we emanate here in Knoxville. But Will, from the Clemson perspective, somebody help me out here. Is Clemson's quarterback playing in that game, or did he opt out as well for the NFL draft, or is he playing?
As far as I know, he's playing, but I don't have anything to back that up.
All right, Bino, Bry, do you guys know? Have we seen that, or Lee? You're a degenerate. Do you know?
Yeah, Klubnik is going to play tomorrow. Okay. Yeah,
he is playing,
and they're still favored by 2.5.
Yeah, that's
despite 27 players. I guess a lot of those players probably weren't really going to be counted on much.
Well, it was 7 of their 8 top defensive players aren't playing. Now, Dabo's cloaking that with our guys are injured, and these are all injuries, and we don't have opt-outs here. Lee texted me that when he saw that number the other day. Hey, Lee, do you remember that sheep play-by-play announcer we had on here that basically was very condescending toward Tennessee and telling us how they don't have opt-outs there? It's not their culture.
Yeah, so I was trying to do my best to handicap that game, and when I saw all the opt-outs, that's when I texted you, because it reminded me of that conversation that you had with that guy who said it was a culture thing that they never have opt-outs, and I was like, well, I'm counting like 27 guys that they're going to be missing, so I just thought that was funny.
And Beanstar, you reminded me, we were sitting together in the Route 202 Wawa parking lot during that, Bino. It was right around this time of the year.
I believe that's correct, Tony.
And that guy was a sheep. I mean, a sheep of the highest order. All right, Bino, throw me out a game that's calling your name, man. Start us off here.
Tony, you've got some real analysts here, and then you've got me. I bet more gut and history than I do anything else. But right off the top, I kind of like San Diego State, and I think that line has jumped to like 5.5. Where are we at here?
Yeah, I'm over here right there as well. Yep.
It's gone to 6.5 now.
6.5, yeah,
that's off the top. That's one that kind of jumps out to me. And I don't have a lot of analytical data to go with it. I just like them catching. I think that thing opened at like 2.5, and now they're catching 5.5. And I just like their chances in that one.
Anybody else have a hankering for the San Diego State North Texas tomorrow night?
Well, North Texas is Mestamaker, I assume, is opted out of that game.
Yes.
Okay, well, yeah, I think North Texas, they come in after getting beat by Tulane in the conference championship game. Their coach is leaving. Mm-hmm. They're a favorite. I don't think I could lay points with North Texas, even if it's just 1 or 2.
Lee, where are you on that?
Yeah, I like San Diego State in this. That North Texas took some money today. This is up to like 6.5 in some books. So I'm going to hold out and see if I can catch 7 with San Diego State. So, yeah, Messermaker hasn't officially opted out yet, but I'm pretty sure he's not going to play. Their backup is a guy who was at the University of Albany for a couple of years, and he transferred to Miami last year, and after he transferred there, Cam Ward came in. So he didn't get to play. And this guy was in a 50-50 battle with Messermaker. And I think the kid's actually pretty decent, but the biggest loss to me for North Texas is their running back, Hawkins, is not going to play. Look, that kid's like all their offense. I know Messermaker's the name, but San Diego State plays really good defense. They're going to run the ball. Their quarterback is out for this game, but Bert Emanuel, who was at Central Michigan for a few years, is going to be their quarterback. This is going to be strictly run the ball, drain the clock, limit possessions, a really low-scoring game. And North Texas can't stop the run. Like, I think this is an ugly game, and I think San Diego State muddies it up, and I think they keep this pretty close. Yeah, I like San Diego State too.
Hey, Papa Heflin, is this game on your board? Talk to me, my chef.
It wasn't, but I've heard some compelling arguments. So seems like we're riding with the Aztecs.
I don't understand the line move with Messermaker not playing and all that stuff going. I don't understand. That scares me a little bit. Those, like Lee said, those line movements haven't been an indicator that it's going to go in that direction so far in both of them.
Hey guys, let me ask you this: these line movements we're seeing before these tertiary bowl games, which is what we're discussing here. Again, not the playoff games. Is significant line movement, guys, indicative of the fact that the public is waiting till the very last minute to get these games on their radar? Hey, I'm going to be sitting around tomorrow, and I'll open my VIP Play app and throw $50 on something. Or, Lee, are the syndicates waiting now to jump in on these things?
Well, I mean, when these lines move, it's because respected sharp money is coming in on one side. The public's not going to move the lines in these games. Yeah, and like I said, the limits typically don't go up on these bowl games until the day of the game. You know, outside of the playoff games, they'll raise those limits a few days ahead of time. But, yeah, I mean, when you see these lines move, I mean, that's respected money that's backing these teams. So, I mean, it's like I respect the market a ton. They're very efficient, but they're not nearly as efficient in these bowl games as they are if this was like a regular season game. Like, that's for sure. Like, these books are kind of flying blind, too, a little bit. So
Beanstar is on the Aztecs. It is a 5:45 Eastern time start. Brian, what is that bowl game called that they're playing in?
They're playing in the New Mexico Bowl.
Let's go! The New Mexico
Albuquerque.
Bowl. In beautiful Albuquerque, which has to be just incredible this time of the year. It's incredible any time
with
of
air
year.
balloons in the sky beneath the blue backdrop. Beneath the blue black backdrop.
If you want to go see some,
if I can say it,
easy for you to say. It's a great place to go see some crushed stone. Number 25, North Texas, Messermaker. Does he play? Does he not? We believe he's not, but we'll see what happens. And San Diego State, as Bino thinks, is a club worth riding with. There. Let's go back to the chef. Chef, throw me out of play here.
Yeah, I'm looking at USC, and both teams have had some opt-outs. This is the Alamo Bowl, I believe, against TCU.
Okay.
So always be careful when you're talking about Lincoln Riley in a bowl game. If you remember, he lost to Tulane. I believe it was the Cotton Bowl a couple years ago. Anyways, they blew like a 14-point lead in 3 minutes there at the end with Caleb Williams at quarterback. But they have Maeva, however you say it. He announced that he is coming back.
Yep.
So as far as I know, he is playing in this game. And Josh Hoover for TCU, a Tennessee target, or at least on the wish list.
Yes.
Is not playing. He's in the portal. So, just looking at the quarterbacks alone, you've got two semi-offensive teams, one of them with their quarterback they've had all year, one without. It opened at like 5.5. It's out to 7. Probably wouldn't go any higher than that, personally. But, if it just steams a bunch more right before kickoff, then that would be, probably a good thing if you get in now on USC. But I just like them to be able to score more in this one. It's a 55.5 total. That's, fairly high for a bowl game, probably a little bit lower than you would think. Two decently up-tempo teams, but I just think, they're trying to build. They had a solid year, but this TCU is just kind of, when you lose your quarterback and he's kind of the main guy slinging it around, it's pretty tough to just replace that for a bowl game.
It's kind of interesting. Again, anybody have this game on their radar? What do you all think of Will's thoughts here, guys? Anybody have a thought on it?
Well, TCU is playing in their backyard.
I would play them now at 6.5 before this gets. I was just saying I would play it now at 6.5 because there's a good chance this probably gets bet up. I think it's probably USC money all the way, so I would bet this now before it gets to 7.
Yeah, and it's 6.5 over at VIP play. I'm looking at it. You can get it at -107. Actually, it just jumped to 7, Lee, just like that. It just jumped to 7. Lee was right. And by the way, the point total in the game, Bri, which you like these totals, is 55.5. Bri, what's your lean if you had a lean in that one? Just spitballing here.
Yeah, it's indoors. It's on fast track. I think, but the quarterback for TCU being out, I would probably go under that, but slightly. I would lean under, but not a heavy lean.
Going for dose with you, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. The holiday season. Make sure you stock up on Dos Equis, the Lager Especial, the Golden Pilsner style beer made from the choice of hops. Absolutely balanced composition, smooth, clean finish. Yesterday, Anthony was out on the grill, and he made us some steaks and some chicken and some great treats. And I went out and brought Anthony a Dos Equis Lager Especial, and he said, Dad, on a 65-degree Christmas day when I'm slaving over the grill, and it felt so unnatural here in East Tennessee, this 65, 70-degree weather is so odd. But at any rate, he said it really, really, really hit the spot. And Dos Equis Lager Especial will exactly do that for you with that balanced composition, that smooth, clean finish. It's that party guest. And when Anthony came inside, guess what he did? He went for Dos. So you will go for Dos, ladies and gentlemen, with our friends at Dos Equis. I want to encourage you to dress it up by rubbing the bottleneck, the can, the glass rim with lime, and then dip it in salt to taste. You will lick, you will drink, and you will repeat as we're breaking it down scientifically here on Winners and Losers, presented by our friends at Dos Equis /VIP play. All right, Lee, throw me out of play here.
Yeah, take a look at the Pop-Tarts Bowl tomorrow with BYU and Georgia Tech. I like the over 55 there. These are two really good matchups for both offenses. Neither team has a whole lot of opt-outs here at all. The few opt-outs that there are mostly on the defensive side of the ball. Now, Georgia Tech's offensive coordinator, Buster Faulkner, is not he's not going to be there. He's already at Florida. But I don't think that's going to be that big of a deal with Haynes King. I mean, he's run the offense for a couple of years. They know what they're doing. I don't think the play calling is going to fall off too bad. But, yeah, these are two really good offenses going up against with advantages over both defenses here. Georgia Tech's defense has been pretty miserable all year long, especially against the run, and that's what BYU wants to do with Bachmeier and L.J. Martin, who are both playing. So, and then I think Georgia Tech's offense is going to be just fine scoring on that BYU defense, too. So these are two top 20 offenses in the red zone, scoring offenses in the red zone all year. I think BYU is 7 and Georgia Tech is 11th, I think. So, yeah, I like points in that game. It'd be indoors on a fast track, no weather or anything like that. So I think 55 is a couple points too low. So I'll bet the over 55 there.
All right. Anybody, any thoughts on that game? Fast track, 2 veteran quarterbacks. Sounds like a pretty good play.
Now, that's in Orlando, right? That's outdoors.
Oh, it's outdoors. You're right, Brian. But
yeah,
still.
Orlando I don't think has an indoor facility.
Hey, Brian, give me the weather forecast there in Orlando. Give me the weather forecast if you could find that.
Where's Dixie? I'll ask him.
See if you can find,
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll look.
I'm going to go ahead and make my play, Tone. I'm going to.
Go ahead. Yeah. I'll look the weather forecast up. Go ahead, Brian.
75 and sunny there.
75 and sunny. That's going to be a great track, Lee. Continue, Brian. Go ahead.
I'll start with the Music City Bowl. The over I see on VI Play was 62. I've seen 61.5.
Yep.
And with all the opt-outs, with pretty much 3 of Tennessee's better defensive players that won't play, and Illinois, their best pass rusher, is also not going to play in the game. You've got both quarterbacks that are playing their last collegiate game facing each other. I believe that's correct. Altmaier and Joey Aguilar.
Yep.
So I have to think that this is a game where both teams might consider surprising onside kicking after scoring a touchdown so they can keep the ball and keep scoring, because you might need 50 points to win it. It is going to be a cold day, but it's not going to be brutally cold like 0 and wind chills in the way below the teens and all that. So it's going to be dry for the most part. So I think points will still be had. They'll still be plentiful. I like the over 61.5, Tennessee and Illinois in the Music City Bowl.
Guys, let's talk about a few things here. Bino, how do you think Tennessee not having their number one deep target in Brazel, who really earlier in the year when they were clicking and the hopes were high, and he would really excel in a game like this against a Big Ten secondary. From your perspective, Bino, how will not having Brazel in that game, because when it kicks off there, it's going to be about 38 degrees and sunny. So 38 degrees sunny with a 10-mile-an-hour wind. How will Beanstar that affect, you think, Tennessee's ability to score points towards that total?
Well, I mean, it certainly doesn't help, Tony, because it probably it may hurt Staley's output a little bit.
Yeah.
And unless Staley can just kind of step up and play that role, and Rodarius Jackson or someone else can come in and fill a gap there as well. But yeah, I think it will have some effect on the game. You'd obviously prefer to have him play, but I think Tennessee's receiving corps is still in pretty good shape without him, especially with the fall off that we saw from him in the second half.
I do see what Brian's getting at. Your leading tackler from Illinois is not there. Your best defensive lineman's not there. Of course, their best offensive lineman's not there, but Tennessee's not exactly getting home to any real repute. Lee, what do you think of? We'll go around the horn here. Lee, what do you think of Bry's play on the total there?
I mean, there's no way I could go under. Like, there's no way. I mean, but my only concern is, one, the number itself. It's already sitting high at like 61. Mm-hmm. That's really it. I mean, the books are. Everybody knows this is going to be a lot of points in this. So yeah, not a whole lot of margin for error with a total that high. But I mean, I definitely couldn't play it under. I mean, that field is always going to be a little choppy sometimes. I mean, it is going to be cold. I don't think the weather will be too big of an issue unless it's real windy. Right now, they're not projecting the wind to be too bad. So yeah, I mean, I'm honestly more interested in just the Illinois side. Just to be completely honest, I feel like they really care about this game.
Yeah.
And I just have a problem with our defense thinking they're going to slow down that offense, because I just don't see it really happening. So I kind of think there's some value originally when this thing opened at like 5.5 with Illinois. So that's kind of the way I was looking.
Well, you know, what's interesting, Lee, is that, and this is again, when you start talking about what side do I invest in here, is who's invested in the game, who's more invested in the game. Now, Tennessee had a miserable, as Throat wrote today, Josh Hypel is prioritizing this game, and he knows they need to win this thing after that showing against Vanderbilt. That was brutal. So, ironically, they got to go back to Nashville now and hope to salvage something after that brutal showing against Vanderbilt. But by the same token, to Illinois, and we've been told this by a couple of different Illinois guests as we've drilled down on this game, this is like a 7th game of the World Series for their football program. I mean, this is an opportunity to play a real have, a real known, a playoff team from the SEC last year, and to put a pelt up on the wall. I mean, those people might print T-shirts if they beat Tennessee in the Music City Bowl. I know that's hard for us to comprehend, but to that fan base, as little success as they've had, it'll be a big, big deal for them to beat the big bad Tennessee Volunteers, who are among one of the bigger spenders in the sport. Around the room we go. Chef, your thoughts on the game that Brian introduced, and Brian introduced the total going over. Go ahead, Chef.
Yeah, I'm with both of them in that I wouldn't sniff the under. The cold does. I don't know if it makes me hesitate, but like Lee said, 62, you need a lot there. I don't know. I just feel like this either flies over or just goes under. So if I was going to play it, I'd probably just sell a few points and get some better odds. Maybe like take it up to 70 or something. See if you could hit a juicer or a squeezer. Because I mean, if like you said, I mean, it just becomes these two quarterbacks taking advantage of their last game. And both defenses are without a lot of guys, especially Tennessee. I mean, it's just going to be, okay, first one to 50. And if both teams are on their way there, you're going to fly over 70 on the way, too.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's kind of my thought is, like, maybe just, if you're betting $50 on something, maybe you just do 10 and get much better odds and sell a few points. And then if it's just way over, then you're golden.
To Lee's point, Bino, and he makes a good one, and Brian made it too, you already have two defenses that weren't exactly slowing people down. Because Illinois had a few games this year where they got lit, like Bry pointed out today in the blog. Illinois had a couple games this year where they got straight lit. So, from that perspective, Beanstar, and Tennessee, you took 3 or 4 guys off their defense that can play. So now you got some serious electric football going on out there. I mean, my God, there's no tell. Those safeties might end up in the river down there, Bino, before the day's over. I mean, they're going to be so off the grain. Go ahead.
I think obviously the over is the safest play on the board here. It's one of the few bowl games where you've got two accomplished quarterbacks that are both playing in the game against suspect defenses. I think that's much safer play than either side. Like Lee said, if you can ever figure that it's just about impossible to figure out who wants to play and who doesn't. Yep. You look at some of these games and you pick a side and say, there's no question this team's going to be the more motivated, and they come out there sleepwalking. If I were going to play a side, now that it's down to Tennessee just being under a field goal favorite, I think they're going to win the game. So if I were going to play a side, I would play Tennessee and lay the 2.5.
All right. Anybody else have any other thoughts? Bri, do you have a thought on the side as well while we talk this game out? What the proper side is, Bri?
I don't really feel great about the Tennessee side. I don't feel really any better about Illinois. I just think it's going to be one of those games that's going to go back and forth. It could even first to 50 might win. I can't really say with conviction a side, either one.
It is going to be. We'll be on with you, Garza Law, 5th quarter fan reaction as soon as the game's over. And we're going to roll that into a Garza Law Tennessee basketball overtime because, hey, Lee, you got to love that the basketball Vols are making their last dip into the quad 5 pool, thank God, or quad 4. The team they're playing is like in quad 6, Lee. I mean, those guys are so far at the bottom of the pool, they're down there with the damn quarters that the kids threw in there when they were diving in the deep end. Good night,
yeah,
Lee.
There's not a lot to gain from these, man. Like, even if you win by margin, it doesn't help you in the net.
No.
Like, you're almost better just like playing a Division II team, and the net doesn't even count those games, to be honest. So, yeah, I'll be glad when the conference season starts, that's for sure.
But I'm looking forward to Dave coming right in here and absolutely ripping Nate Ament's ass for not doing anything against the directional school. Because here's what's going to happen. The Tennessee game begins at 5:30 Eastern time. It'd be over about 8:30, something like that. The other game, the basketball game, Bri, begins at what time, like 8 o'clock?
It's 8 o'clock, and as far as I know, the game is still on at 8 o'clock.
So, Tennessee's going to be playing basketball in front of family and friends at Thompson Bowling, which, on its face on December 30th seemed like a really good idea at one time. Bino, what kind of live crowd do you think they get in there for that game at Thompson Bowling? Do they crack 7,000, 8,000, 9,000? Do they get their 14,000 they usually get, Bino?
I'm going to say they have about double amount in the second half that they have in the first half, whatever that is.
Interesting. So, and by that point, it should be an absolute rip job. But we're gonna do our two call-in shows, two call-in shows in one, just to say that we did it and we're being complete degenerates. All right, let's see. Bino gave a game out. The chef gave a game out. Back to you, Bri. You're it.
I'll go to the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans.
Let's go.
It's Georgia minus 7.5. I've seen it minus 7 against Ole Miss.
Yep.
This is a rematch from the regular season. It's Ole Miss's second straight playoff game that is a rematch from the regular season, which is kind of interesting that a team like them could get to the playoffs and end up having to play someone they've already played before twice in a row. But Georgia was lucky to get out alive of some games, especially in Neyland. And ever since then, they've gotten so much better each week, especially defensively. Gunnar Stockton is playing with more confidence right now. I think Ole Miss is having to – they had Lane Kiffin in the first game, and they played at Georgia. They were actually ahead by 8, I think, in the fourth quarter, and Georgia scored the last 16 points to flip it around and win by 8 in Athens. I think that Mike said it best when he was on a couple hours ago. He thinks that Georgia is playing better than it was then, and Ole Miss he's not so sure about, and I feel the same way. I think Georgia wins this, and I would actually be comfortable if the line was even higher playing Georgia, and I think Georgia's going to end up winning to go to the semifinal. They will probably win by, I would say, at least double digits. It's Kirby Smart and Kirby Smart is he's been there and done this.
He's damn good.
Gunnar Stockton is the only quarterback that has previous college football playoff experience, and it's Kirby Smart versus Pete Golding. I think I'll roll with Georgia and Kirby Smart.
Hey guys, if that Chambliss kid goes out there and beats that Georgia team with Pete Golding coaching them against Kirby Smart, I mean, I don't know if it's turning water into wine, guys, but it's it'd be pretty damn close. I mean, what are we doing? And Lee, the last time these two teams played, that's some of the worst defense in an upper echelon Southeastern Conference football game I've ever seen in my life. Both teams.
Yeah, that was back and forth. I mean, neither team was stopping each other. I mean, that was a really close game for 3 quarters. Georgia made a few adjustments in the fourth quarter, and really what happened was Georgia started wearing them down at the line of scrimmage in the fourth quarter. They just kind of started asserting their will on them. I think that's probably the difference in this one, too, is Georgia can probably just wear them down, and their defense has gotten better. They have started to get a pass rush over their last few games, which they hadn't had all year long. There was some video that came out with Kirby just ripping into his offense on the practice field because of the way that they've looked the last couple of games, which hasn't been all that great. But I laid 6.5 at open with this with Georgia. I don't know if there's still 6.5 is out there. If you like Georgia, I would shop around, make sure you're getting the best number. A little concerned that it seems like everybody is on Georgia, and this thing really ain't moving a whole lot. We'll see once limits go up here in a couple of days where this thing goes. But, yeah, I mean, I think the coaching advantages with Georgia and the defense advantages with Georgia. So I have a small play on Georgia right now as well, minus 6.5.
Anybody else in the playoff game? It seems to me that Georgia is a semi-credible pick to win the national championship here out of this league, if anybody's going to do it. Bino or Chef?
Yeah, I'm actually one of those Georgia to win the Natty people, I guess. Jumped in on them about a month ago when they started looking really strong and had really turned it around defensively. So we'll see. I like them to get through this game. Because of the futures ticket, I hadn't even considered betting on it, but if I had to, it would be that side, like you said. The thing about Ole Miss is, Lane left and all that, but just because of the way the first game went, like I just see there's just something about Kirby Smart this time of year and his team's getting better.
Yep.
And, Pete Golding could be the best coach in Ole Miss history when we look back 20 years from now, but he just took over, and it's a tall hill to climb. And they did look good against Tulane, but they should.
Pete Golding's got a certain, or Kirby has a certain meaner about him this time of the year, Bino, as a smart man once said. And his meaner is to rip your head off. Georgia's defense has grown so much since the last time they played them, and we're going to see how much they have grown, I'm afraid, in this game. Hey, look, sentimentally, it's a great story. If Ole Miss were to beat them again, if that Golding guy, they devise a plan and they go out there, and who knows, they get the sports crazy. Maybe Gunnar Stockton maybe gets in his own head and turns it over 3 or 4 times. Who knows? But, Bino, your thoughts on that playoff game that Brian introduced?
Everything that everyone has said about this game is exactly correct. And if you look at it from a logical standpoint, Georgia should go out there and take care of business. But like Lee said, 75% of the handle and 90% of the money is on Georgia for all those reasons you all said. And when the time comes, I'm going to make a contrarian play, and I'm going to play Ole Miss catching a touchdown.
Why not? Why not? Why not? It can be lucrative going the other way. All right, Beanstar, you're on the mic. Give me what's on your alleged mind. Go ahead.
Tony, we got the whole slate to work with here, right? I'm going to just a huge game, the Mayo Bowl, Wake Forest and Mississippi State. I don't know a thing about what either one of those teams is going to bring into that game except this. I ain't laying points with that Mississippi State touch. Give me Wake Forest and a field goal.
Yeah, Wake Forest is playing a 5-7 team. Mississippi State, I think, is the one of 3 that are 5-7 that had to be invited because there were some other teams who declined. So do with that what you will. I don't think I would want to lay 3.5 points with a 5-7 team either.
I'll tell you this, guys, don't mess with our schedule because that's a team right there that could have a bowl win.
That's the only
by the end of the day
team in bowls that Tennessee beat. And they're 5-7.
I'm probably foolish for taking the ACC in an ACC-SEC matchup.
Yes, you are.
I refuse to lay points with that Mississippi State team. I'm not doing it.
You are foolish, Bino. I don't know the reasons why. I'm not sure the reasons why, but, boy, I'm glad you're on here, man. Bino is –
yeah.
Hey, Will, is Bino not fun to have on this thing?
It's a lot more lively with Bino.
Yeah,
Everything
he and Bronny Boy and trading shots and going back and forth here. And Lee's joining us today on this live version. He's transporting a couple dogs, saving a couple of our young dogs' lives. Lee, what types of dogs are these? What breed?
So one of them is like I'm pretty sure he's a purebred beagle. Like he looks like he doesn't look mixed. Like he's about 1 year old and he's been sleeping for like the last 3 hours. He's pretty chilled. And the other one, I have no idea. It's some type of shepherd hound mix, and he's a wild man. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
what
yeah,
I
they're
have.
good. They've been good so far for the last 3 hours. Keep my fingers crossed.
I have a hound mix Doberman upstairs, little girl, and Beanstar's met her. She's a sweetie. Willie's met her. Yeah, she's a little sweetie. We love our furry friends, and Lee's taking care of our furry friends today. All right, so Brian, you've given me a couple. Chef, bring it on home. Here we go, brother.
You want me to jump into the playoffs now, or just
do whatever you want to do? It's a free country. Bino just went to the Mayo Bowl, and I want to relieve myself, and that's why I wasn't here.
I thought we were sticking to the non-playoffs.
Well, no, you can do whatever you want to do, but I want to relieve myself, and I had a vision. Bino mentioned that Mayo Bowl, Lee, and I was thinking about Josh Hypel, if he won that game, being doused in mayo, and I just can't unsee that now. I'm sorry, but
if you think you had calls calling him sloppy before, don't ever let that happen.
Damn, dude, ain't that the truth? Go ahead. The whole field is yours. Whatever you want to do, Chef.
Yeah, well, I've kind of gotten in this nice little routine of giving out one that at least seemingly is against the grain, and I've been super lucky on them, so I'll just continue on that streak.
Yep.
And the reason that this one is a little bit, if you want to say nerve-wracking, is the toughness. But the talent on paper tells me that Alabama catching a touchdown against Indiana should be the move. So I don't know if they win, but I think they give them all they want. And if Alabama's able to be physical for 4 quarters, then they might just win the game outright. So I'm going to take Alabama catching the touchdown in that quarterfinal game against number 1 Indiana.
You know, the thing that's really interesting about that game is you guys were on Alabama against Oklahoma last week, and I'm watching that thing, and I'm sure you're watching it early going, what the hell did we do? But that's
exactly what we were thinking.
But that Alabama, well, I was watching the group chat, but that Alabama team, guys, if they had a scintilla of a running game, they do so many winning things. They've mastered the art of just kind of hanging around and letting you make the errors. The question is, will Indiana make enough of them to allow Alabama to stay around? And, Lee, how do you answer that?
Yeah, I mean, DeBoer has been really good in those big games in most of his entire career. I know he got drilled by Georgia in the SEC title game just, a month ago, but he's been really good in these types of games. Like, I thought Oklahoma played their best quarter of the entire season against them in the first quarter. And I think they reverted back to who they were after that. I had a lot to do with that. I'm kind of opposite Will here. I think Indiana handles them. I don't. The one-dimensional offense with Bama comes home to roost here, in my opinion. Like they are not going to run for anything against Indiana's defense. You can't run on them. And I don't think Mendoza's going to miss all the wide-open receivers that Mateer was missing the other night. I think Indiana. I think anything less than 7 for me personally is good on Indiana. I like Signetti having some extra time to prep for this, and seeing Bama on tape from last week. So I'm kind of opposite here. I'm on Indiana. I'll lay the 6.5.
But by the way, guys, when you're watching a game like that, and it should be 24-7 or 24-0 or whatever it should have been, if Mateer just runs the ball at midfield there and doesn't do a boneheaded thing like he does, but that's Mateer doing Mateer things. Are you thinking to yourself at that point, I'm on the wrong side? Or when you won that game, did you guys both say, man, we were on the right side? Or do you win games sometimes when you're really on the wrong side and you just won anyway?
All the above. All the above. That one felt pretty lucky. I mean, 17-0 on the road. Probably the wrong side in Oklahoma, like you said. Alabama just let them kind of let Bama back into the game. But, I don't really have a good argument to what Lee said. That's kind of the thought process that makes a lot of sense. I will say the one thing that's kind of I'm at least trying to evaluate is like Indiana is in a new role, if you will.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they've been at the top all year long. And if there's anybody that doesn't need experience to have success, then it's Kurt Cignetti and that bunch. They're not going to be scared at all. But just he wins the Heisman, they're the number 1 seed. The touchdown just feels like a lot to me, and DeBoer has been good in these big games, and so it is a little worrisome. Like if they're probably not going to run the ball, and I know Brooks had a really good game, but Ryan Williams is just not good. So it's going to have to be Brooks and Bernard for Bama to do anything. But I could see a little not hesitancy out of Indiana, but maybe takes them a little bit to get their feet settled in, just with Mendoza coming off the Heisman. I mean, we've seen it so much. The teams that have the great regular season win the Heisman, and then it just doesn't work out. But they could come out and hammer them, and I'll say tip the cap.
Shout out to
Is this the first time that Alabama's been an underdog in a playoff game?
Gotta be, Bri, right? Gotta be.
I think they were underdogs to Michigan, I believe, maybe.
Anybody, Lee? Do you know
that overtime game against
Not
Michigan?
This big of an they wouldn't have been this big of an underdog.
No.
In any other games,
Alabama seldom is a 7-point underdog in anything, guys. Come on now.
I don't know if that's cause for concern.
That's a number.
No, not 7, but I think they may have been an underdog at one time or another.
All right,
They were 7-point dog to Michigan in the Rose Bowl.
Wow, there you have it.
I stand corrected.
Good call, whoever pulled that back. All right, my friends over at VIP Play, I want to remind you, I got the app open here. I'm looking at 20% Friday Bowl game parlay boost, if you want to take advantage of that. We also have warm-up weekend, 15% parlay boost across the board on your Friday. A really fun thing going on with the Winter Bowl Season Passport. You bet the bowl games, you collect stamps, and then with your stamps, you unlock bigger boost. 5 stamps gets you 20% in a boost. 15 stamps gets you 50% in a boost. And if you get 30 stamps, 100% profit boost on your New Year's bonus. And Will, if you'd like to explain more about that, Will Heflin, go for it, brother.
Hey, you laid it out pretty straightforward. Like you said, every game you bet on, you get a stamp, and the more you collect, the bigger the boost. So all the bowl games and all the playoff games count, runs through the national championship. So a nice little deal, especially if you're going to be betting on them anyways. You stack some rewards along the way.
See, Bino, like S&H green stamps, brah.
That's perfect. I've been getting stamped every NFL game I bet, so I might as well get something out of it.
Well, and I look over, and there are several games that are live right now, so opportunities for you to bet. Live always over at VIP Play, where I want to remind you, if you have a gambling problem, 800-889-9789, 21 and over, located in the great state of Tennessee to place a bet. And we're going to now turn our attention. Do you boys have anything in the NFL calling your name this weekend on the way out?
Yeah, I like the over in the Colts-Jags game. You saw the Colts defense, Bino, apologies, but you saw their defense against San Francisco. And if Trevor Lawrence keeps playing like this, making the kind of ridiculous throws he's making,
yes,
then you can forget about it. So I think the over is going to – I think that over – and the Colts, I think, are capable of scoring enough.
Yes.
And getting that total over 48. So I like the Colts Jags over 48.5.
Leah Thomas is proud. Does anybody else have anything to say about the Jags and Colts, Bino, besides the prediction being pain for you?
Yeah, Tony, the bet against the Colts. That's my advice, and I'm not going to give out any others. The last time I hit an NFL game, Phillip Rivers was coaching in high school.
Hey, Lee. Are Brian's Jags like a Super Bowl contender? Is this for real?
Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah. Remember like a month or 2 months ago, I said Jags 50-1 Super Bowl tickets were out there? Remember? Y'all made fun of me? No, they're for real,
that,
man.
yes, I do.
Yeah. I'm telling you, this offense is as good as any offense in the league right now. Like, they are, what Cohen is doing is pretty dadgum amazing. Like, their short passing game, intermediate, deep passing game, everything is terrific. The defense has some holes in it, but they've got some ball hawks. They turn the ball over a ton. I think they're very live. I mean, I think this NFL thing is wide open. I'm really hoping they could get the 1 seed, but that's going to require the Patriots to lose to either the Jets or the Dolphins with Quinn Ewers or whoever's quarterback in the Jets now, and that's not going to happen, unfortunately. The Patriots have had the easiest schedule in like 30 years in the NFL, facing backup quarterbacks.
It's unreal.
But yeah, the Jags are for real, man. Yeah, that offense is absolutely legit.
Hey, Willie, you and I have talked about this. The NFL's problem is the last 6 weeks of the season, it looks like the bum of the month club, some of these quarterbacks that they throw out on these fields. They've got to figure out a way. And now they're playing 17 games, which is even worse. They have got to figure out a way to develop some quarterbacks in that league, guys, because it is an ugly product this time of the year.
Yeah, it's been a bad year in terms of injuries, and then also just some teams being eliminated, like a larger portion of the teams being eliminated sooner.
Yeah.
These past few weeks have just been, you're just trying to find a game that matters. I mean, yesterday was the perfect example. We had 3 football games, and not one of them really determined anything. I mean, I guess the Lions weren't technically out, but they were out, right? And so the thing I'm looking at this week and next is incentives. You start tracking incentives and guys reaching milestones to get bonuses. Just, do some digging around that. There's people throwing stuff out on Twitter all the time, but just, double check it and make sure it's accurate before you put any USD on it. But I like to find some spots where I think a guy's close, and if it matches up with a line that's not already inflated or juiced because of that, then you can find some spots, have a little fun. But you're right, like this last few weeks, you just got to be careful and kind of prep for the playoffs. I mean, and now's the time I would try to look at any futures or teams to make a certain round if you think there's some value. Those are the things I'd be looking at these last 2 weeks, because it's unless you're gonna like next week we could get Bucks Panthers to decide that division if the Bucks beat the Dolphins and Panthers lose to the Seahawks, which both teams are either underdog or favored, respectively, to line up that Week 18 showdown. Stuff like that you can look into, but otherwise I'm just like, what's the point in the Bengals and Cardinals? Like, it's just they're just playing for recreation.
You might have all 16,
that's
all
a good
14
game, though.
playoff spots.
Say it again.
You might have all 14 playoff spots determined by the end of Sunday.
That's right, Brian. All playoff spots could be determined by Sunday.
Possible.
Go ahead, Lee.
With the week to play, which I don't think's ever happened.
Which is really silly. Go ahead, Lee.
So I love betting like the last 2 weeks of the NFL. Like, it's historically really good to me, and it's counterintuitive, but if you play the teams that don't have anything to play for versus teams that are playing for either seeding or a spot or have something to play for, historically, the teams that don't have anything to play for cover about 61% of the time. And it's real simple. Like, the whole market thinks, oh, this team needs to win to get this seed, or they need to win to get in. So everybody's betting them. They become way overvalued in the market, and they're laying numbers they probably shouldn't be. And they generally don't cover. You saw it yesterday with the Lions losing outright as a favorite. The Broncos didn't cover last night. Like, those teams that nobody wants to bet on, like, I love betting those teams the last couple of weeks. I think there's some good ones. Just like the Browns this weekend catching 3. It's a really good play against the Steelers, man. Like, that's a really good play on Sunday. It's been bet down, but that's a really good one.
I'll give some of you scholars a quick homework assignment. Find me the last team in the NFL that started 7-1 and finished under 500, because that's what the Colts are getting ready to do.
Gosh, that seems impossible to do, Bino.
Well,
I mean, technically they're still alive, they're still alive technically. I mean, but I think Steichen knows. I think they saw the writing on the wall. I think they know they're not making the playoffs. Otherwise, I don't think they bring Rivers in.
They shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, he's good. They said he's going to play, even if the games don't mean anything these last couple of weeks. But we'll see. So.
That's a serious organization, man. You go get your quarterback. I mean, that's like what happened with Hendon Hooker up there in Detroit. It's like, we're going to go get a guy who's been coaching for a couple years, man, to come take your job last year for the playoffs. That's probably not a real good sign for whoever the backup. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing?
What's worse is he's probably the best quarterback they've had since he retired.
Bano! All right, guys. I love each and every one of you. I want to wish all of you guys a Happy New Year. It's been terrific. Shout out to Blair. His boys, man, they got it. They got to beat Colquitt's boys this weekend and seal that deal with a week to go. That would be,
that's the best play of the week, Tone. They're catching 7, man. That team is an underdog. Has been absolute an ATM machine all year long.
I love that. I love watching that team too. I love them. You talk about a team that plays with a ton of spirit and plays the game hard, and they've had some tough luck too. They've had that game with the Saints a week and a half or so ago was whew. That's one of the ones that stays with you a while, especially if you miss a playoffs because of that. But my friends at Dos Equis Lager Especial, one more time, I want to thank them. Remember, the Golden Pilsner style beer made from the choice of hops, a balanced composition, that smooth, clean finish. It's that party guest. Always invited. Never overstays a welcome, and I mean never. And you're going to go for Dos with Dos Equis Lager Especial, and there's one for you in the whole Dos Equis line. Any final thoughts from any of you clowns?
Hey, thanks, guys, for letting me sit in, and thanks for doing this all year. You guys are terrific, and I hope all of you have a happy and healthy 2026.
Well, thank you, because it's going to continue into 2026 as we continue to talk about the NFL playoffs and give some of our favorite college plays. Lee, is there anything else on your docket or on your radar for the weekend?
No, it's pretty much football. College basketball is pretty much off until really starting. There's a few games that start back on Sunday, and then most everybody gets back going on Monday. So, there's no UFC until the end of January.
Yep.
And no college basketball until Monday. So, it's all football this weekend.
And by the way, the Joshua fight wasn't fixed last week. Jake Paul ate him one, didn't he? Broke his jaw.
Yeah, I mean, we said, if that thing's a legit fight, he's going to kill him, and he almost killed him.
Yeah, I got to give Paul credit. Yeah, Paul got in there with a guy capable of killing him and almost got himself killed. That's a YouTube stunt I could sign off on. I give the YouTuber some credit there.
I mean, I guess there's some question as to whether or not.
Whether or not what? Well, we're just going to hold that thought. There is a question as to what.
We lost him.
I think we lost him.
Tony?
Go ahead.
Middle of February.
Yes,
best
Chef.
time of the year. College baseball gets ramped up.
Yes, Chef.
I'm not going to say who, but there have been college baseball futures. The initial college baseball outright champion market.
Yes.
I saw in one particular spot. So just wanted to throw that out there because I'm excited for it, and that's my cup of tea.
Do you believe the Vols have a chance?
It was fun to dig into that, and Tennessee opened as the 5th best odds.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Are we expecting Tennessee and Omaha this year? Will Heflin?
We're expecting Tennessee and Omaha every year, Tony B. But we'll have to see how they look. I don't know. It's a new team. They've got some nice pieces. We'll have to see how the league looks around them and all that sort of stuff. But, if I had to say it today, if you've got, if you're in the top 5 of winning the whole deal, then you would expect to be in Omaha.
Thank you, Will Heflin. Bino, you were great today. Great lines. Brian, You've been really en fuego, Bri. Great entry today in the blog over at tclub.team. I want to thank my friends over at VIP Play, where everybody gets treated like a VIP, and Dos Equis Lager Especial Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York, 2025. Go for Dosey Dos. For Willie, for Lee, for Brian Hartman, for Bino, yours truly, Tony Basilio, wishing you a great holiday weekend. We'll be back with you on Monday and Tuesday, Rice fans, and Wednesday, Rice fans. We have a busy week next week with the bowl game and the whole deal and the whole shebang. But we love you. We appreciate you. Peace. Hit those winners. Stay away from those dat-gum losers. We love you. Thanks. How about me, Bino, working a dat-gum in there? What'd you think of that? He hung up on me. That's what he thinks of that. Get you some of that, Basilio. I'll hang up on you with the greatest of ease, G. All right, let me run today's show back. How do I do this? Oh, man. Woo! Pretty fun, y'all. I told those guys, I said, how about we do like a 30-minute winners and losers? And we got to talking and we got to having fun, and that's kind of what happens when you get to talking and you get to having fun, and, you know, it sort of is what it is at that point. But I hope you enjoyed today's program. Shout out to everybody. All my friends on the Ave. Have a great, wonderful weekend. Appreciate you. Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio